And we are live. Welcome to the Games Talk Live podcast. Excuse my voice today. I have really bad allergies lately. It's been a nightmare, but man, I'm just getting over some of that. Anyways, it's good to be here. The show must go on. We have a great guest this week, and of course, my co-host, the best co-host in all the land. He's so good that every podcast out there has to have him. That's right. You can find him here on YouTube about 12 days a week. He's always here on podcasts. Hargeet Shani, what's up?
Hey, another week, another fun tromp through all the news that we've had. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. The IGN thing. It's another big one.
Yes. IGN. Yeah. Oh, my God. They're buying everybody, people. So
consolidation.
Oh.
It'll end everything. I'm sorry. Wait, what?
Yes, well, hey, maybe
Since
next.
I'm not on Twitter, did you guys see all the ats to Joe Biden and Lena Khan about the IGN acquisition? I'm assuming.
No, I didn't see any of that. There was none of that.
Oh, there weren't?
I didn't see anything. No,
I did it. I did it. He responded personally.
Oh,
he said, "I'll look into it," and I was like, "Thank you."
Signed,
sir.
Brandon. Oh, I'm sorry.
Ayo. Yo.
And of course, that voice you hear is none other than Zalker87, one of my, I guess, panel members from RDX still. They're just not currently on.
I was literally just going to say, like, welcome to RDX, everybody. Glad to be here. I mean, like, it's like almost the whole entire panel, man. It's pretty awesome.
Almost.
Yeah. But I'm glad to be here, man. It's great. I haven't been on the show in a while, and it's good to get back into podcasting again. Like, I felt like I haven't done it for like 7-8 months. So I'm just glad to be here talking some games, talking some new stuff, especially since all the things are going down. And sorry, I don't have a camera. I can't find it because it's been like 7 months. So I suck ass, and I'm sorry for that. And I'm a little annoyed. So now I want to go find it. Like, I'm actually looking as we're doing this podcast. So that's life.
Yeah, he's looking for it. Sure. He did it on purpose, people. Anyways,
I broke it.
Hey, it's really nice to have. I mean, we talk all the time, daily in chats and stuff, DMs and stuff, but also over the phone. It's like we have a podcast going on there. We're always talking about games and stuff because that's what we do. But it's good to have you here. Let's go ahead and before I get started, I just want to say, of course, guys, I got to do it. The Valari pillow. I've been using this sucker now for 3 weeks, and damn near 3 weeks, and I really enjoy it. Seriously, it's a great pillow if you want to play your games and stuff. Just resting your arms on it with the controller and stuff just feels so good. Zalker, I don't know if you have one, but honestly, it makes a big difference when you play your games with it.
I do not.
It is so comfortable. Well,
is it for your ass?
No. It's for it's to lean your arms on while you're playing a game.
I know.
But God, man, Zalker, you had to go there. Anyways, I just want to let everybody know
that you can use it any way you like. I mean,
exactly. Don't judge me.
I don't think Valari intended it to be that way, but seriously, Zalker, you can go to the link in my description and get 15% off with Fonz 15 for the Valari pillow yourself. And there's different ones that you can get, different styles and all that. Great stuff there. But anyways, shout out to Valari for this gaming pillow and for hooking that up for me. I appreciate you guys over there. And go get one. It's awesome. Moving on, let's talk about... Well, I'm going to let you take this one, Hargeet, because I don't know exactly what was talked about here because it kind of slipped my mind. But yes, there was a Sony Vision meeting. Mm-hmm. What did they talk about here? Because a lot of us were speculating kind of like, oh, maybe this is the time we're going to hear them say, we're going to PC, hitting it more aggressively. And we didn't get that.
Nope. It was beyond the boundaries. That was what they said.
Beyond the boundaries.
What their main focus was on the word kondo, which is emotion in Japanese. So that was what they really were going after. And it was essentially taking all their IPs and extending them into the movie and music arena. They talked a lot about their capabilities as far as film. So they have cameras that are reference quality as far as movies, and how they're making them better and better, and that's cool. That's great. So they did talk about something in the consumer electronics arena, which is their cameras. Beyond that, it was really about this like sort of IP and movie, anime and music kind of thing. Barely touching on gaming at all, even though that's one of the biggest segments in their entertainment, revenue. They basically just talked about that going to other media, and like, okay, that's cool. As an investor, I don't understand where the like the return on investment is coming in.
Nothing
Is it just sort of
exciting there for an investor.
Yeah, it's just sort of pushing things into some vision that they have, but it didn't tell me like, here are the financials and here's where there's going to be a return. So that's kind of what I got from it. But yeah, there was very little PlayStation at all, and that's maybe a little concerning. You would think that since it's one of their biggest revenues, that they would talk about what they're planning to do with it. There really wasn't much. It was more from a Q&A on, where do you see things going? And they said, we're happy with the console sales. And that's all they said. They don't.
The only thing I could kind of see from that whole aspect of it is that, let's be real, they don't need to report on what they're doing with PlayStation because they're not worried about it. That's from like the other parts of this, like the visions of what they need to do within other forms of media. Because if you look at everything like the Halo show, you look at Fallout being one of the biggest successes this year in all of media, the show, like all that stuff, plus it boosted game sales. Like that shows like a good cohesion or condo of like everybody kind of being on like this Fallout kick that's making a lot of money. Now, I think they need to, that's what Sony's trying to say, is that they're going to go into different forms of media. And that is tied into PlayStation when you look at it from like the Destiny perspective, because even Destiny developers were like, we're trying to get out there in more media. And then you look at everything else they're trying to make, like the Last of Us show was really well received and a very huge success for HBO. So Sony has those little things that they're trying to do and go and like kind of accomplish, but it doesn't involve the PlayStation. Now, I do think that PlayStation is so big that it deserves its own kind of thing, right? Like we've always seen. That they like need it,
though, right?
Yeah, but this is for the
update.
I understand what Hargeet's saying. This is for the investors, though, and you would think that they would.
Yeah, this is for the investors.
Yeah, talk more about.
And on top of that, Zalker, the last update Hiroki gave us on PlayStation was that PlayStation is dwindling on its profit, and that is a problem that they have to go fix. That's the last update we got from Hiroki.
I would say that he's also kind of foreshadowing this year, right? Because they have, like, let's be real, everybody. The beginning of the year, if Helldivers 2 wasn't what it was, I think they're in real bad shape. Because all the other games didn't sell so well, and they've talked about like they're not going to have anything till next year, first party wise.
By the way, I just have to.
Concord comes out.
I have to say, because of some of the rhetoric I've seen online from Sony fanboys and stuff, saying they're good with how PlayStation's doing because Hiroki is, because in that in this meeting they said that they're happy with how PlayStation's doing. However, I do have to point out though that every CEO says they're happy with their current situation with their products. This is just what they do. They're not going to come out and say, "Oh, we're losing a ton. This is, the ship is burning." They don't do that kind of thing. So they're always going to say that, because we did get reports of across the board, the console space has gone down. 29% to be exact for PlayStation. So to say that, because he said that they're happy with the sales and everything as they are, even with a 29% decrease last quarter, it's just them trying to save face, in my opinion. It's just, this is how you have to run your companies. You have to be more positive about it than come out and say something negative. So that's the way I see that.
To that point, Fonz, that's exactly why there's nothing there, because what would they say? Everything is negative. So they're just going to skip it. That if you're positive about what's happening, you would 100% speak loudly about it.
What are you talking about, Hargeet? They took more clothing off Stellar Blade. They fixed it for everybody crying. Of course, there's positive. Nah, everybody's.
I'm buying it half off, like her clothes.
I'm
just joking.
The zinger.
Like, listen,
That's great.
To be quite honest, I don't think it's I do
That's
think
funny.
that I do think there is some positives that happen at the early this year, but the rest of the year, Sony, like they even said that it's going to be a little sparse. It's going to be like they don't have a lot of stuff coming for it. And hey, you know what? That was going to happen. They've brought out a lot of big games, but at the same time, they're close to, I think, 60 million sold or something like that, or shipped. Maybe it was sold consoles, which is actually lower than the PS4 was. I don't think people understand that they're not going to meet the sales of like all these other consoles throughout history.
No, I think
console
this
sales have
generation is
gone down
different.
a lot.
Yeah, I
this
think
generation is different. We're
yeah.
we're 4 years in. Let me give it in perspective. We're 4 years in. 4 years in from last generation, we had games like Witcher 3. We had games like freaking Horizon Zero Dawn. We had games like, of course, Halo 5 came out, Halo the Master Chief Collection, Sunset Overdrive. We had all these different games that had impact. Dragon Age Inquisition. Like, you think of these games, you're like, wow, those are actually pretty big games that defined a lot of what we saw. We haven't really seen those type of big games outside of like Starfield. I get God of War, but
and
nothing
they've been
huge.
mostly cross-gen, right?
Yes, and
Even if there
mostly
are big games like
cross-gen.
Hogwarts,
Perfectly put.
but it's cross-gen, right? So
Yep.
everybody can play it, and so there's been nothing like pushing you to the next gen. But yeah, the biggest one should have been Call of Duty, but that's another story. Maybe we'll get into that later. But yeah, there is that.
That's a cross-gen. Like, and we'll get into that. Like and there was a report, and this is another thing. There is a report, like, and this came from like some of the Sony stuff that came out. There is a report that 50% of PSN users are still on the PS4. So 50% of console gamers.
That's a lot.
Players are on PS4.
Yeah, and half of the COD players.
And this, it goes to that whole thing where COD, we talked about it last week, coming to Game Pass day one. That's a great thing for great Game Pass subscribers and everything. But is it a great thing for this generation? Because you've got all those COD players that will not move forward to this gen. Why?
Yeah.
Why do they need to? First of all,
they don't need to.
Here's the biggest issue with it. Not only is inflation a problem for us right now, it's a problem for everybody that's creating manufacturing these consoles and everything. So you've got these supposedly cheaper made consoles that are being sold at the same price, like as the start of this generation. They're still $500 machines, and this is the biggest problem I see.
The biggest problem I actually see 4 years in for next gen, I do not think that next gen only games outside of maybe COD, but even COD, I'm saying this, and I know people are going to be like, what are you talking? I don't even think COD is big enough to be like, oh, cross gen only or next gen only, and people are going to go there, because you still have Fortnite, you still have Apex Legends, you still have Minecraft, you have all these games that are free to play that are never going to leave that console generation until we go to the next one and it's viable for them, because they make too much money on it. They're not going to move over. So these free-to-play games, I think, are a bigger hindrance to the next-gen consoles or this gen consoles, and also, because they're always up there.
And what has really enticed
GTA
us
is going to be the one that's not going to be crossed.
I know, but GTA is going to be one of the biggest factors for people to move up. Yeah. I do agree with that, because
I think GTA
thus far, there hasn't been anything compelling enough to go to the next-gen consoles. There just hasn't. Gaming has not evolved that much. I mean, in terms of even graphics, even until recently with Hellblade 2, I'd say those graphics are very next-gen. I would say that. But everything else has just paled. We've seen a lot of games to come out that you could look at and say, yeah, that could have been done on last-gen hardware. Maybe not as well as that, but the game mechanics, the pretty much almost the way it looks, aside from maybe resolution and frame rate, but it could have been done on last gen hardware. So I don't know. It's that whole enticement to even move up hasn't been there yet.
But going back to the original thing, which was the Sony financials,
going back
vision,
to that.
right? The vision thing was confusing as an investor. It gave me no numbers, right? So I don't know what the return is when. So I'm not sure what that was really intended to do, right? So it's kind of cool that you put out a vision statement, but it doesn't tell me what that vision will result in as far as me being an investor. What is my return? When am I getting it, right? So Cool. I like the AR thing they were showing as well. Nice. I don't know when it's happening, right? Is that a device you're selling next year? I don't know. There's nothing there, right? That's my problem, right?
Yep.
So, and having zilchoid in your entire new vision about PlayStation says something about PlayStation. It just does. You can't eliminate that part of it altogether and say there's just nothing here, and then tell me that there isn't some concern about the PlayStation platform, right? They've changed Herman Hulse to be the head of the IP that they have and not part of PlayStation. That's telling you something, isn't it? Right? His job is not to make it transmedia. Okay, that does tell you something, doesn't it? Right? So you got to read between the lines. There is something changing there. What that is, I don't know, but there is something changing there. And we'll see what happens if they have any kind of showcase something next week.
Yeah. What about this whole showcase thing? What's going on? Because we don't have any details whatsoever. And all we have is a bunch of speculation. And one thing that I've speculated is that since they've already said Wolverine's not going to be at this next showcase or whatever they show next, State of Play, I don't know what it is, but I think it might be, I'm hoping anyway, is Ghost of Tsushima 2, because I love the first one. I just beat that game on PC this morning for a second time. I beat it on the PlayStation, years ago, but it's in the running for my game of the year this year. I mean, it's my game of the year thus far. Again, for a second time, 4 years later, because that's how kind of not great it's been this year for me with games. But I love that game. It's just amazing. And I hope they show Ghost 2. Sucker Punch is working on it. We've heard that. So that'd be nice to see for sure. I don't know, but anything else about the showcase? Zalker, have you thought of anything about that could be shown at that Sony showcase? Guess he's not there. Hargeet, what about you?
I think the Silent Hill thing, right? They had, what's that team that made Medium? Bloober,
yeah,
something like whatever it was, right? They're working on a Silent Hill. They showed us snippets of it. It didn't look all that impressive, but it's coming, right? So that might be something they show us. It's a remake, right, of Silent Hill.
Cygnus in the chat said Venom standalone DLC for Spider-Man. That could be
unlikely. I think Insomnia came out recently and said we're not ready to show it. So
okay.
That's not happening.
Man.
So it's not going to be that. They might have teasers.
I'm wondering if they have something completely new and like a new IP to show off that they have not shown.
No.
I'm saying Sony in general, one of their teams. I don't know which one.
So Santa Monica Studio had a second game going while they were making Ragnarok. So I would think that's ready to be shown. I would think.
That'd be nice.
So
you guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Now I can hear you.
Jesus, what happened? Okay, sorry. You asked me a question and I started talking. You're like, he's not here. I'm like, what? Sorry.
So Santa Monica, that game potentially could be shown. Naughty Dog had something else going on, but I think they're kind of revamping that, so that might not be ready to be shown. The guys that did Demon Souls, Bluepoint. They're working on a big new IP or something. They've been working on something for a while now, so they might be ready to tease something.
Well, Ghost of Tsushima, Sucker Punch, they were talking about Sly Cooper, and then they apparently officially came out and said, no, they're not working on that. And apparently they are working on Ghost of Tsushima 2. So I'm happy about that. Sony Santa Monica. Maybe they're ready for that. Yeah. I mean, maybe. I think they're ready for that.
Well,
I think they are.
You know why I think they're ready for that?
4 years in.
Do you know why I think they're ready for that? It's 4 years since, and they will be using a lot of the old assets, I'm sure.
The same assets.
I'm sure.
And improving on them.
Improving,
and then,
for sure.
Bend was greenlit for something in 2020, 2021.
Gosh, I wish that was Days Gone too, man. I'm so mad. It's still
not gonna be
bitter.
Days Gone 2.
I know it's not, but I'm bitter about that. I love Days Gone.
Again, they might be ready.
There's a lot of stuff. There's a Housemarque Key. The Guerrilla Games has 2 studios. Guerrilla Games has they went up to like about 550 people, which about only 230 are working on Horizon, and then there's a bunch of other stuff, including a new studio within them that they're working on. Naughty Dog has a couple things that might be in the works, but I think Faction set them back, so I think they're a few years away. I think Sony has stuff to show. It's just further out, and that's why this year they're kind of like, you know what, we're going to pull an Xbox in 2021 or whatever the hell it was, 22, where they just had nothing. And they were just like, we're just going to do that.
So, and then there's still Fair Games, which is coming next year. There's still Marathon. There's still potentially for Concord. It's a potential to come out this year. So those are the things they could show. There might be other surprises as well, but and third-party deals, right, where they have some old IP maybe that they've had some other studio, like they did with Helldivers,
Yeah.
right? They could do something like that. So those are obviously potential options. The thing that's concerning, Jim Ryan had them going in a direction with live service, and that has apparently been kind of disastrous. And now they're kind of pivoting back. So I don't know what that does for timelines, right? That is the big headache, right? So it could be that they're like Suicide Squad, right? They went a direction, said, yeah, that's not working.
I
Let's just
think
take away
that's
some of
more
that."
telling.
And that kind of gives you like like, oh shoot, now we kind of have to revamp this, and we got to make sure it's clean and it looks like a game that we normally put out, right? So this is the part that's troublesome, right? Because if they went in a direction, that's years of work that they would throw away, and they would have to kind of redo a lot of that as far as the gameplay mechanics and whatnot, right? The core, what are you trying to accomplish? And so it's up in the air. I don't know. Like, all those are due, but if this pivot happened, they may not be due.
I get the pivot might set them back, but the good thing
Yeah.
that they have in their pocket is they have the foundation from games they created last gen that they can take and use. Those assets that we're talking about. That's the only thing I could see kind of making the pivot a little less painful for them. And that's just something they can basically look at. Plus, they had some games in the pipeline. Plus, they're not afraid to go sign third-party deals and release those and be like, here you go. They're not afraid of that. And they haven't been ever afraid of that. So I'm not too sure what they're going to do. I don't know if the showcase is going to be big. I don't even know if it is a showcase. I think it's going to be like a state of play. Then they maybe have another update later. I think people are going to be waiting. Like, you got to remember, people, 2-3 years ago, do you not remember when Sony didn't have a show for 2 years and everybody was making fun of Sony people? Like, everybody was making fun of the fanboys. It was a console war thing, but legitimately, they didn't have anything for like 20 months. No show whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So they might do that same thing if they have nothing to show right now.
Yeah.
The showcase will probably be late summer, right? Because they supposedly they have a PlayStation 5 Pro. If they're going to show it, they're probably going to show it in September.
It's going to be in
release
August,
November.
September, like they did with the PS4 with the PS4 Pro. They'll do that for the PS5 Pro. But there's a lot of things coming down the pipe, including Switch, including maybe a new ROG Ally, including a lot of handhelds. Everything. There's a lot of hardware on how you can play your
probably
games.
in October announced, right?
So,
October they're probably going to announce the Switch 2. So yeah, I think they're going to come in right before that and showcase what they have, PlayStation that is. So this will be a state of play, a little update on what's coming, third-party marketing deals, things like that. That's what you're going to get.
Zalker, I haven't gotten your opinion on the PS5 Pro. What do you think about it?
So I don't really care for it. I got the PS4 Spider-Man Pro Edition because I didn't have a PlayStation 4. I can see it maybe enticing some people, like the 50% we were talking about. I can see it enticing some people, but I just don't see the crazy jump where people need these consoles. And I'm just being quite honest about that. I don't see where people need these things to move forward. You can stay on your PS4. You can stay on your, especially when it comes to the casual market. Now, for hardcore gamers that want the performance they want on a console, to me, I think a lot of the hardcore gamers, and I've seen this in the community itself, go to PC. I've seen that if they want like top-notch performance, which not everybody can do, and some people just enjoy being on console, which is totally fine. I can see it doing okay there for them, but the PS4 Pro, if people remember, it didn't sell gangbusters. It did not sell gangbusters. The PS4 sold gangbusters, but not the PS4 Pro. So I could see the PS5 Pro being in that same kind of realm with a little less sales comparatively to the PS4 Pro. The only thing I can see it doing is just beating Xbox and like, we have the best version of this looking like this. But when you look at everything, how much more of a version are you getting? Like, the thing that matters the most is the frames, at least in my head, is frame rate. And if it's performance, and that's what I want to see.
It's performance.
Yeah. I don't see that changing all that much. A lot of people are looking forward to it, and they're putting a lot of, I'm sorry to say this, but they're putting a lot of like holding water into the fucking tools. And we've seen how the tools have been. They are not, maybe they are being used, and maybe the tools are just not that good. Maybe they're not well optimized. Maybe they're not well done. And I hate to say that because DLSS and NVIDIA, there's a reason why they're king right now. There's a reason why their stock is flying through the roof. And if you invested in them, you're doing really well. It's because it works, and it works very well and seamlessly for developers, and their AI is extremely well done. Maybe other software developers don't have that. And so when you hear about the tools, it might just be minor. It's not something that's a staple in how the game is going to perform. And people need to realize that.
I think
And
overall,
this one's gonna have its own.
Yeah, it's going to have its own
proprietary
Yes, sir.
AI. Yeah, but here's the thing. I think we've learned from last gen that mid-gen consoles kind of kill the hype for next-gen consoles as well. The Xbox One X in particular, still going back to that thing today, it still produces some high-level gaming. It may
really
not
good.
have the frame rate, but the visuals, they're all there. It just, everything that we were getting with that machine and then going into this gen kind of just made this gen look like a half step. And that's the
you're right.
problem. Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree. I bought the Xbox One and I was like, this is great. This is cool. I remember Batman Arkham Knight. I remember that was one of the games that I was like, yo, this is dope looking. And then I got the Xbox One X, and the two games I bought with it was Assassin's Creed Origin and Call of Duty World War II or WW2. Those games blew my mind away when I launched it on the One X. The One X, to this day, and I know people are going to get mad at me, the Xbox One X is still one of my favorite consoles of all time because I had so much fun on it.
Yeah,
and I thought,
I don't
wow, this
blame you.
looks amazing. It was like 4K and we were playing games and it was a lot of fun and it felt premium. And then I got the Series X and I'm like, I hope I get, and nope, it wasn't like that. Developers were like, do we really care about performance? No, we want to make it look good. And then it just became weird. And it's just like this weird in between and the tools weren't ready. It's just weird.
Yeah, that's why I'm not going to purchase any mid-gen refresh ever again. Like I'll buy the new consoles that come out at the start of a gen, but that's it. Like, and not because I hated the Xbox One X, it's because I loved it so much. It was so good that it made this generation kind of lackluster. It really did. And I think that's where these companies doing two different things here. I would say Microsoft is doing the right thing by not going forward with a mid-gen refresh. I am happy they're not doing that.
They kind of already, like, I think me and Hargeet talked about this for like years. They kind of did it already, right? Like the Xbox One S was their main console because it has the most out there or whatever. It's 50-50 now. And then the Series X was kind of like their big, like for enthusiast hardcore, and it's still powerful.
Yeah,
like,
but
it
it's
has
the
good
start
power.
of a gen, right? So that's
I get what you're
different.
saying.
But like
I get
4
it.
years later, you come out with a Pro model. It's like, why? And then 2 years later, you're going to come out with next gen, and then you're going to make your Pro model kind of.
I don't think it's 2 years. I'm gonna say this. I think the leaked documents from the damn freaking FTC, all that stuff that we've seen, they're showing that they're aiming for 2028. Like
PlayStation is aiming.
PlayStation, and if Xbox comes out in 2026, okay, but like I don't think it's going to do anything. I really do believe they're going 2028, maybe 2027. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Hey, I don't give a shit. Then I'm wrong. But I really do think 2028 is the mark, because if you're going for 2026, like we're not getting a lot of these games that they announced for this gen then. We're not getting the games that they talked about back in 2020. Like, is Perfect Dark coming out? Is all these games you talked about, is State of Decay coming out? Like, if they come out like during the next 2 years, then okay, damn. But at the same time, like,
probably,
what are you announcing for next gen? And then if they're going to come out in 2026, they're going to have to announce it, I would assume, either this summer or in December, because then you're getting close to the launch of that. You got to build up hype for a year or two. Like, that's the way I see it, but I think it's 2028, man.
Well, if it's a 2026, you probably put it out in 2025. It may even be the same thing with the Game Awards or something like that, right? Or they put it out in 2026 in June or whatever, or in spring of 2026. So
and
we're
so,
still a while away.
I'm gonna give Abdel in the chat actually a little bit of a shout out. So this is something that I didn't bring up, but until they announce it, I don't want to say it. He said that they're pushing for 2026 to get the handheld hybrid out, which I can fully see. If they bring out, and I've always said this, I feel that there wouldn't be an Xbox Series S. The Xbox Series S would get replaced with the handheld. If you want lower performance, you get the handheld. You could dock it, all this stuff, kind of like a Switch. you'll have that. And then for premium experience, if you want like the best and the most expensive, you'll get an Xbox, Series X, whatever they call it. That's what I think they'll do. They'll have a handheld and then the big console that's expensive, and that's it. And they'll bring those out, and then there you go.
Yeah.
That's the way I looked at it.
Yeah, Hargeet. So along with this meeting, this whole meeting for Sony, alongside that, Sony put out an interview with Neil Druckmann, and apparently in this interview, Sony had said, what was the quote? That their next game was going to be redefining the mainstream view of gaming. And apparently Neil Druckmann has since come out and said that
That's not what he said.
that was a misquote. It's crazy how Sony themselves got this wrong. Obviously they were trying to do something. Yeah, so they were trying to push something here that just wasn't true. And man, I don't know. I don't know what kind of game he's talking about building here. I've heard some things about them possibly using AI within this game.
Look, what he was saying was more along the lines of, when we do things like put Last of Us out as a TV show, it starts to take away the mainstream, perception that gaming is for kids, and it's not an adult, mature standard entertainment form, right? And that, showing them, hey, these are the stories that are in those games, opens their eyes to, so this is what gaming's about?
Yeah.
That's what he was getting at, right? Was like Fallout TV series being such a big hit helps people understand, hey, this is what gaming is about. It's not, just Mario running around or, cartoonish characters. There's some depth to some of these stories, right?
Definitely,
and it is
definitely.
Right. And that's what he was trying to get at. And he was not saying anything about like his new game is going to be revolutionizing gaming. He's like, I hope that because we've now done that the mainstream will start adopting the idea that these games, and what we're putting out will be something that resonates with the mainstream, not that it just is niche and it's a entertainment form for kids, right? That was what his, what he was trying to get at, and it got totally misconstrued.
Big
that
time.
He's going to redefine mainstream gaming.
Yeah,
like, dude.
no.
What do you say?
By the way, I got to shout him out. Patrick in the chat says, "Does Fonz Gaming only talk Xbox? We've been talking PlayStation for the last 30 minutes, 35 minutes.
We've been going hard.
We talk about everything on this show. This is not an Xbox centric podcast, nor is it a PlayStation centric podcast. We talk about Nintendo sometimes here. We will talk about gaming in general. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. I honestly took what I think it has two ways of what he was talking about when it comes to AI and what everybody's trying to talk about. It's kind of what the guy at EA talked about, how he said it would take us 6 months to build a stadium in FIFA, and now it takes us like 6 weeks or something like that. I think that's more what he's talking about, that they're going to be able to speed up the process of how they develop games. And I get like the other one, the mainstream medium, that makes sense to me too. But I think it's a double-edged sword where like you're supposed to do this. And as somebody, so I work in the tech field, and that is something that we do work on, is to make things far more accessible, less lag, make sure the data is being transferred at a good rate and it can be analyzed, or whatever you're doing, whatever you're creating, it can be there in a heartbeat. That is AI driven. That is cloud driven. That takes time. And that's what they're trying to do. And that's what people are going to do when they start developing these games. And it's why Unreal Engine 5 is so well done, is because a lot of those assets are there. That is like, and you can start working on your AI in the front end and the back end of UE5 and move it forward. That's what they're trying to get to, is where instead of taking, like Sean Layden was saying, this isn't sustainable, taking 7 years to make a AAA game, like, what are you doing? Like, you are literally putting all your eggs in one basket. And if you have a okay sales in 7 years, it doesn't matter. You can't recover. You're shutting down. You're done because you can't do it. Like that's what they're talking about, is making it way better and just making it better for developers and easier for developers to get these games out. And honestly, make it easier for us as consumers to like get these games in our goddamn hands and let us play it.
Yep. Facts. Facts. Danny Passion Official with the 5 says, if 35% of last year's games would be released this year and be better optimized, example, Jedi Survivor, Starfield, Redfall, and many others, Zalker is a frog. I don't know if he had a question.
I think he tried to say fraud, but it says frog. I think that's what happened. Because I was like, am I a toad? Like, what?
No,
he's
not either. Come on, guys. You remember.
Zalker is a toddler.
He's a toddler.
A toddler.
I don't know if you had a question there. He said if 35% of the year's last year's games are better. Okay.
I think he's just making a statement.
Just a statement about
he's
the
saying
games.
that they're going to be a little better optimized on the mid-gen refreshes. That
if they were no, I think he's saying if they were released a year later, they would have been better, right? If they were released this year instead of last year.
Oh, he's 100% right. If they were released a year later, yes. Because I mean, look at all the cool stuff Starfield added. There's some stuff in there that they added recently that I would have definitely done had it been there in the original game. But
I know Fonz, Fonz, you don't do this, and I don't think you do. I've seen your show. I don't see you do this often, but we got a bunch of people in the chat. Can we get some fucking likes, people? Can you smash that bitch up a little bit? Hit that little thumb and just hit that like button for us, all right? Hit it for Fonzie. Look at him.
I never asked.
I know you don't, and that's why I'm like, just hit that little like button, everybody. Like, what's going on?
Yeah,
and if you and just so you know, if you hit that like button, that means you don't like Hellblade 2.
You know what's
55
funny?
I'm just joking.
You know what's funny is how like I'll get called all kinds of things, but one thing I hate when somebody tries to call me out for clickbaiting or being a grifter. I'm like, hold up. I don't ask for shit on this show. I don't even ask for likes hardly ever. So, I mean, when that happens, like, yeah, okay, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Hit the dislike button. It doesn't bother me. But at the end of the day, it does help out the show when the like button is hit. And it does help out to get comments and stuff within the show. So if you do really like the show, please comment after the show and stuff, because that does help.
I'm a little uncomfortable because Rev Sivan said, I liked it only for you, Daddy Zalker. That just makes me
Wow. I wish I had some music to go with that.
I wish I had my camera. I'd give him a little kissy, get a little blow one out there, you know what I mean? Anyways.
There you go.
Oh, that.
Maybe you two get a room.
Damn. I'm about to go grab some cognac. That was nice.
Only you, Zucker. Only you. Guys, let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about Hellblade 2. Hellblade 2, of course.
Let's do it. I'm rubbing my hands together right now.
Hellblade 2 had dropped. When was it? Earlier this week? Was it this week? Last week?
Hargeet's little hand on the chin, just like,
Oh, hey.
I love him, dude. Hey. I love Hargeet. I don't care.
I'm going to say this right now. If you like or love this game, that's fine. I have no problem with you liking or loving the game. That doesn't bother me whatsoever. But if you hear people dislike the game, don't attack them. I don't understand the attacks, because I get attacked for saying I don't like the game all the time, but I've not yet gone to somebody and say, you love the game? Why? How? That's not right. You're wrong. Like, I don't care. Like, seriously, people have attacked me before for liking Red Dead 2. Hell, Zalker gives me shit over it. He doesn't like Red Dead 2. I love Red Dead 2. And I get they talk about the game all the time. It doesn't affect my feelings, people. These are video games. It should not affect your feelings whether somebody gives it a freaking 4 or a 10. It shouldn't affect you at all. This is video games. Let's be adults about this. Ah, man. Anyways, I want to go to, first I want to go to Hargeet, because I really want to hear Hargeet talk about this game. And what did you score at Hargeet?
I gave it a 9.
A 9
out of 10.
Okay. And what
double your score.
Yeah. How did you feel?
So look, I've been pretty clear about, like, I finished the first one, right? So
yeah,
unlike you two, I don't think you finished the first one, right?
No.
Which I would suggest.
I actually got pretty close. I got pretty close to it. I got pretty close to the end, and then I just didn't care. I know it's about like her lover and the grief, and it was like very personal, and I was just like, I don't give a shit. I'm done.
So I would say if you had to rate those, I would suggest the first one you would probably rate very low, right? Because Fonz, you couldn't even play it, right? You're like,
Yeah, I was done with it. Like I played probably 3 hours and I was just like, ugh, I was done.
I think I played about
So-
4 or 5, and I got to say that I actually played it with Dealer at the time, who was like, "You got to keep going, man. It's getting." I'm like, "I don't think it's gonna get any better, Dealer. I'm gonna be real with you."
So I would suggest it's just not a game for you. So
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's fine. So like I went in with Hellblade 1. I'm like, okay. I gave kudos to Ninja Theory for going after that the mental issues and whatnot. That's a good thing. Great. But overall, I found the game was like the pacing just wasn't good with Hellblade 1. So I'm like, it's okay. The puzzles were, they were kind of like annoying at times. Not because they were like hard to do, they were just laborious. And I'm like, come on. And so like, I don't know. So I didn't find it all that compelling, but I finished it. I got the story. The story was good. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Right. Going into this one, my enthusiasm for it was pretty low. Of all the games they showed, this had the least enthusiasm. I was more interested in Ara than I was in this, and I'm definitely more interested in About an indie. Even Visions of Men, it looks pretty cool. But like, yeah, okay, it's Hellblade, whatever. I play it, I start it, I'm like, okay, this is pretty good, and then I keep going, and it just like pulled me in. Like the pacing was so much better in this, and the emotional level, the story. Because I've actually finished the other one, I understand what the story is, right? So the story was great, and it like I had it at 8.5 until the ending, and I'm like, oh, okay. So then I gave it a 9. So for me, it was exactly like the opposite. It did everything the right way, and got me through to the point where I didn't want to put it down. I wanted to continue playing it, and I finished it. And like this is great. And so for those who aren't interested in this kind of game, I get it. I play puzzle games all the time. So to me, all those puzzles are rudimentary, very easy to do. So I didn't like it, never really bothered me. I just kind of flowed right through it. And as far as the combat, I thought it was way better than the first one. Now you're probably looking for more mechanics. And I'm like, dude, this is a frail woman who has problems in her head. You have to understand the context of the game. She's not a ninja. She's not a samurai. She's not going to suddenly
I actually disagree with you.
Of everything. So
I disagree.
Now, and that's fine. You can disagree all you want. You're just wrong. But now the
I will fight you.
it is what it is, guys. Like you have to understand what this game is, right? This is not going to be a freaking God of War. Here, I'm going to throw the axe and it's going to come back to me. That's a shit game, by the way. God of War is a boring ass fucking game. But anyway, so now you take that and say, okay, well, what is this game about? It's about this story and what's going on in her head. That's the whole point of the game. If that's not for you, you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it. If you're not listening to what's going on in her head, this is not your game. It's just not your game. Like that is the whole point of this. It's not the fighting. It's not the walking around solving puzzles. It's about this. It's about what's going on in her head. And you have to understand why she is who she is, right? And if that's not for you, fair enough. It is not your game. You should just put it down and say, this ain't for me, right? But you can have your review. That's fine. Where it really kills me, Fonz, you say that you shouldn't criticize people. If you thought the first game was a 10 or a 9, and you come into this game and say it's a 4, fuck off. You're full of shit. Don't tell me it was that bad. It can't be that bad. I am going to call that out because that's shit. That's absolute shit.
I don't know if
so. I am not going to stand here and sit here and say, no. That's totally fine. You have your score. No.
Here's the thing.
It doesn't go down 50 points. Sorry.
Now, I don't know about the scoring aspect, especially, I don't know if you watched Mr. Matty Play's review about it and heard him on Defining Duke.
I didn't get to finish watching
it.
I watched the beginning of it. And
he loved the first one. I don't think he put a score on it, but he did not like this one. And he gave some great, compelling arguments as to why. He really did. He spelled it out.
It was more about like the story for him.
Yeah, and it made a lot of sense. Now, I can't really speak to the first game because, again, I didn't play much of it. I don't care for this sort of game going into this one. So, of course.
Exactly.
But here's the thing, Hargeet, you didn't care for the first game either, and you went into this one thinking kind of the same thing.
And I've got to put like on you, like think about this. Yeah. Your first game score would probably be a 1 or 2.
Yeah. So
and you bumped it up to 4.5. So it's substantially increased.
Here's the thing.
I'm just saying.
Well, here's the thing. It's going into this, I knew I wouldn't care for the game because it's that style of game. I was not hoping for a God of War, but anybody who's saying like you were hoping for something it wasn't going to be, or we all knew that this game was going to be exactly like the first. You're all liars, because
I thought it was.
Nope, not originally, because at first when they were first marketing, when they were first marketing this game, when they were first marketing this game, they were marketing it as a bigger experience, and they were marketing as a bigger game. They were talking about the combat being totally revamped, redone, and we thought we were going to be getting more out of this game based on all these Ninja Theory diaries. Everybody was excited. I saw it. I'm not saying you in particular are lying, Hargeet. I'm saying most of the people that were out there saying that this game, I shouldn't have thought this game was going to be any different. You're bullshitting yourselves. A lot of you were saying the same thing as me months ago, going, "Oh my God, this could be a different game, guys. Look at what they're showing. They're taking MMA classes even. Like, look at this stuff." And none of that was even, they shouldn't have done it. The animators were taking these classes, for crying out loud. So of course you're going to go into
all mocapped.
Here's where we started. A few, not that long ago, probably at the end of just a few months ago, we started to see towards the end interviews with Ninja Theory, and it started to be like, oh, wait a minute. They're not talking about this or that anymore. They're not really pushing the combat anymore. Oh, this is going to be just like the first. And then that's when I started to say that on my podcast. Oh, they're not changing shit. This is going to be just like the first. So of course I'm not going to like this game. But I'm not going to go into, look, I'll just tell you this. I scored it a 5.5. 5.5.
Oh, I thought it was a 4.5.
No, the reason why is because I was talking to people. My scoring system was off by a point because I was under the impression that 5 was average. It's not. 6 is the average. 6 is average. So I put it below average. Yes, I think this. I think this is a mediocre game personally, for me, and I'm just judging it. You know how we're always saying you got to judge it on its own merits, on the game itself. It's a game. It's a video game. And as a video game, it's one of the most boring video games I've ever played. One of the most boring. Well, experiences as a whole. The story.
Horizon was bad.
The story. Well, yeah. And that's the thing, too. A lot of guys in the community are pissed off at me for saying this. But it's funny. You tell me I shouldn't say this about this game, but yet when I talk badly about a Horizon Forbidden West, you're all like, talk that shit, Fonz.
So I'm curious, what is your provisional score? You didn't finish that, right? You didn't finish Horizon Forbidden West, right?
No. And I don't give it a score.
What's your provisional? If you had to give it a score, what would you give it?
I can't, because I didn't finish it. I don't believe in giving scores if you don't finish a game. You can't. You just can't. You have to finish a game. I've maintained this forever. Like, it pissed me off when people were giving Elden Ring a 10 and they were 60 hours in, but I'm not even halfway through the campaign. Well, then shut the fuck up. You can't give it a score. Yeah. That's the way I feel.
Yeah, I'd give Elden Ring probably like, I think just because of where it is, I'd give it like an 8.
Yeah, I loved Elden Ring.
I think a lot of people gave it like a 10.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
But here's the thing.
But I finished it. I actually did finish it, unlike Zalker, who didn't finish it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, it's like
coming at me, huh?
It doesn't matter. It's all opinions, and it's a video game. And like, I don't say people are lying about their scores if they gave it a 10. Fine, that's your prerogative. You enjoyed the experience. There's many parts about this, and we'll get into some of the parts that I thought were just lame, okay, and made it boring. The experience itself.
Do you mind if I jump in a little bit?
But first, I want Zalker to jump in and give us a little bit.
So I will say that Hargeet never brought up anything about the game beforehand. He wasn't excited for it, and that's why he didn't have any expectations, because he wasn't looking forward to it. So Hargeet, you had no expectations. So for me, that's a good thing.
Point out, I do that for almost every game.
You do.
If I walk in and I'm like preconceived notions, then I know I'm gonna. That's why Starfield did not bother me, because I'm not sitting there going, "Where's my Fallout stuff? Where's my Skyrim stuff?" I don't care. Just the game comes.
And see, and that's why, like, I think you're a little bit of an outlier. Now, I don't even want to bring up God of War. I don't want to bring up anything. The only reason why God of War gets brought up with Hellblade is because Hellblade themselves and Ninja Theory themselves showboated that they hired the combat director from
God of War
onto their team. And that's where a lot of the combat stuff and their evolution of the game came up. And this was like 3 years ago. I made videos about this. I talked about this. They really were pushing it. Now, as for the game, the more I sit there and think about it, and you say that, like, if you're not into what's going on in her head, yeah, it's not a good game then, because in her head is not well written. In her head is not well done. The ending is one of the worst endings I've ever seen in a game, movie, story. No matter what you say, it is one of the most abrupt, what the F is going on endings where you're like, that's it. I literally thought I missed something and went and played the chapter again. So like, I was like, oh, did I fuck up and miss like that? That's how abruptly stupid it is. So that's just me. That's from a writing perspective. And as like, and I'm going to say this, and I say this out there, I take writing anywhere pretty seriously. Like if a show's not well written, I get really annoyed. If something's not well written, I get really annoyed. I like reading a lot of books. I like reading things that make sense and can have cohesiveness to it. That game had some of the most conjoined writing where I understand what's happening. I get it. It's not well executed. And there are so many padded areas that don't make sense where I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this? It makes no sense. And I predicted what was going to happen in the story before it even happened. Because yes, I beat this game, but the only reason why I beat it is because it took me 5 hours and 20 minutes. And on my Xbox thing, it says 7 hours or 8 hours. That's because I was AFK for like 2.5 hours cooking dinner and walking my dog and hanging out with the wife, and I left it on just so everybody knows. Now, as for the game, if not understanding what's going on inside, I get that. Now, the first one, I understand what's going on. You're going into Helheim. You're trying to save the soul of her dead lover, and I get it. That is what that story was all about. While you're dealing with these demons, while you're dealing with what's going on in her head, and you're trying to do that, It's like, no, that's what it is. You go into Helheim, Dylan, her lover. Is that not what was happening in the first one?
You have to finish it to understand.
No, I'm just saying, was that like not the premise of the game?
Well,
if I'm wrong, then
I don't want to spoil it.
Okay, well then don't spoil it to people. Well, it's fine. Like, I'm just saying, like,
we can talk about it after. Like, I just don't want to
for me, the game doesn't have, and this is the thing, it's a game. So I need it to be a game first, not something that feels like a tech demo. And that's totally fine. And that's just me. Like, it just feels like I was now? Dude, for me, it looks like, dude, it is. I'm sorry. It is a gorgeous looking game, but I did more gameplay in the goddamn Matrix demo than I did in this game.
I'm gonna say The Last of Us 100% is a tech demo, because that was a shit fucking gameplay game. It is a shit gameplay game.
Number one or number two? Number one or number two? Number one or number two?
Both of them.
I hated the gameplay.
Oh my God.
And that way overstayed its welcome. Overstated its welcome. And like, yes, it was technically very, very cool, but good God, was that a shit gameplay game. It's one of the reasons I hate Naughty Dog as a developer. Yes, they put stories out, but their gameplay sucks.
I don't agree.
I'll be honest with you. Okay, so I don't like, for me, I don't give a fuck what Naughty Dog did. I'm talking about Ninja Theory right now.
I'm just putting that as a comparison. It's the same to me. I get it.
And that's the thing. I don't even want to compare it. The game just itself doesn't have a lot of gameplay. Holding up or pressing W, because by the way, everybody, if you want to talk to me about anything, I played this on the Xbox Series X, the PC, with headphones and without headphones to see if there was a difference. I played it with a controller and I played it with mouse and keyboard. I went in on this game to see if, like, just in case anybody wanted to do, because I know once a game like this happens, like, I didn't like Starfield, so I played it everywhere, so everybody knows how my experience was. I do got to say that the writing in this game needs to be top notch when you have minimal gameplay. The writing, that's just me, because the gameplay of moving up, I got 1,000 out of 1,000 achievements, by the way, on my first playthrough without any guides. I just played the game. I explored. I looked around. I thought the game was gorgeous. But I do have to say that it was the writing that didn't drive it home. Just like Last of Us 2 had amazing gameplay, the writing did not bring it home. And it was bad. Real bad. So
I agree with that.
That's just my whole thing. As for the game and the development of the game, the first game had, 15, 20 people on it? This game had 80 to 85 people on it. And you still gave me a 5-hour experience? Like, and you had 7 years, and I get that 2 of those years was hit by COVID and they needed mocap, but my God, is that all you have? Like, I know people don't want to hear this. Ninja Theory, even if everybody's saying it's greenlit, all this, all they've given Xbox is a failed Bleeding Edge, which I actually enjoyed more than Hellblade 2, and Hellblade 2. And Hellblade 2 on Steam right now, when you go look at the numbers, has half of the players of Redfall at their peak. Half.
Ugh.
It's at 3,000. Like, that's what you've gotten from Ninja Theory. And everybody's like jumping on the audio thing. I'm sorry. I experienced that kind of audio in Max Payne 20 years ago when he was on drugs and you're like kind of overdosed on painkillers and you're going through your dream. There's things whispering around you. Like, I think it's great. I think the audio is great. But what people always talk about is like the whispers and what you hear. And all those whispers just told you where to go in the game. It was kind of like the puzzle thing or Atreus telling you like, I think it's that rock over there. Shut the fuck up, Atreus. Let me figure it out. So like, that's just me.
Yeah. The constant, she understands. She's getting it. She understands. Yeah. Like,
and listen, and I'm not going to get, listen, and I'm not going to
this
like
exactly
keep jumping
is
down.
why you two just should not play this game.
No,
but
I should play it, and I should play it.
Here's I got to jump in.
Wait, how many games do you play like this?
I've played games like this that I've actually really loved.
Like what?
Edith Finch, for one. Walking Simulator.
That's not anything like
and guess what? Guess what? No, it is like this.
Would you say
walk
Telltale games are like
of the
it?
time.
Nope.
But you know what? You know, with Edith Finch, you actually pick up more things, looking at stuff. You're actually interacting with the world a lot more than you do in this game.
Guys, you're not getting the point of the game. You're just not getting it. You're just not getting.
What am I not getting?
Hargeet. You can't say that we don't.
It's a
listen,
game.
I get the point of the game, Hargeet. I get it. I'm
should have been
literally
a TV show.
objectively
It should have
saying
been a TV show.
I'm objectively telling you it's not well written. I'm telling you that the second one, the first one, to be quite honest, actually was a little better written. It was the puzzles made sense for her mind. It made sense for what you're going through. It made sense for her. And one thing that people don't understand, there was no other people. It was extremely personal to Senu. This one has more people that you don't even knew. I'm sorry. There's more people that you don't even know if they exist.
I don't think they exist at all. I think it's all in her head. I think it's all in her head.
And it might be all in her head, and it might not be. But I get what's going on. Don't say that I missed the point, because I got the fucking point. I'm telling you that the point is just fucking stupid, and I think it's really terribly written.
So that means
it's not even just how the story's written. It's how it's told to you too. The walking through the glowy freaking story and how it plays out is ridiculously slow and boring. Like, I would rather have a CGI there to show me some cool stuff rather than that freaking glowy crap that you walk through. And by the way, Colt even agreed on that. That wasn't even a good thing. Colt even said that, and he loved the game.
And I'll say this: there was 2 parts of the game. There's 2 parts of the game that I thought were wonderfully. No.
Not for you. It's
hold
just
on.
not for you.
And there was 2 parts of the game that I thought were wonderfully directed and presented to you. One was that big fight where you're fighting with all the people that you know against those guys in the camp, and it's choreographed amazingly. The transitions, the fighting, it's like 10 minutes of
from that God of War
pure,
guy, right?
Like, hopefully, because damn, he's probably doing his job and they let him. So that whole part is actually really well done. And of course, I thought the other 2 was the first giant, the one that's grieving because it's grief. You're going over the grief of your like her grief. That chain breaking part was pretty cool. And then the giant that they showed us for the first gameplay, I thought that was epic as shit. Those parts were great, but they were too far in between.
They were the best parts of the game.
I mean, look,
said that too.
There's no convincing you. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm not trying to convince you. I just know this is just not for you, right? So this is mental health. You just don't care. And that's fine. That's totally fine.
We could go.
Right?
When
you delve into this, that's what you're supposed to expect.
Yeah,
right? It's supposed to be fucked up, weird. Like, you don't know what's going on, right? They took this story from actual people who suffer this.
I know, but
this is not about what your gameplay is.
Okay, so
you're not supposed to enjoy
here's the problem, though. Here's the problem with that. It's a game. We keep saying it's a game. And as a game, you have to score it as such. It's not a game. The Last of Us has gameplay, Hargeet.
Yeah, it has shit gameplay. It's the worst. It's so bad, dude. I hated it.
No, dude. Number two has some of the best gameplay. Number 2 has some of the best. Okay, well, then if you're saying Last of Us 1, where it was like the one in the PS3, I agree. Yeah. The gameplay in there is kind of janky. It's a little fucking off.
Yeah, of course.
And I'll agree with that. But number 2, their gameplay is fucking tight. And it's really good.
No, it's not even about that.
And you said I'm not even acknowledging that you said God of War is boring. God of War is one of the greatest franchises in fucking gaming ever, and it's like has some of the best gameplay and story. Sir, that is amazing.
But after the 100 millionth time I hear the same.
For people talking about this whole experience, everybody's been talking about this whole experience with Hellblade 2. Mav, I see you in the chat. Shout out. Again, for those of you tuning in and listening, it's not about you or your scores. Like, if you love the game, I'm not questioning whether or not you should love the game. Me and Zalker are talking about our own opinions on the game. And I'm telling you, as a video game, you guys keep saying this is an experience. It's an experience. Well, Correct. It's a bad experience for me. It's a bad experience for me.
Well, and I will say this, it's going to be a bad experience for the general audience. I'm going to say that. I really do think.
I don't expect a lot of people to play this.
No. And that's what this is what I'm trying to say is that I don't think
opens up even more. If this is not what the general audience really wants, why are we even doing this? Why is Ninja Theory even creating this Hellblade franchise?
Wait. So are you saying that they shouldn't make, nobody should make anything that isn't useful to all 8 billion people on the planet?
No, what I'm saying is, what I'm saying
there are going to be games that are not for you.
Why? No. But it's so niche and it's so small. Why are they making this? Why did they make a part 2? What was the point? They drove home what they were going for with the last one. Bingo. Why did they go for part 2?
Because it's an artful game. That's the whole point. That's it.
They had an artful game in the first one. They didn't need to make this one. This is what a lot of reviewers that gave it negative scores were harping on, was the fact that it didn't need to be done again. They got it all in the first one. It made sense in the first one.
So now we're going to tell studios to not do what they want to do?
No. I think that I think at the same. To be quite honest with you, Hargeet, I really do think that I really like what I'm trying to understand is that at the end of the day, Ninja Theory is a fucking business, and Xbox is a business. You need to make money. If it's so niche that even some of the hardcore gamers aren't playing it, because that's what's happening right now. Like, for it to launch that low, like, I get it. Like, it's artful. Like, I get it.
Still,
like, I wholeheartedly get
niche. I'll be very honest with you. Prey is niche.
Closed studio. Closed studio.
Dishonored is niche.
Hi-Fi Rush and Closed Studio.
Hi-Fi Rush is niche. Everything Double Fine is niche. Everything Double Fine is niche.
We might be seeing.
No. Let's keep going. Obsidian is niche.
But here's the problem, though.
Is niche.
Here's the problem, though.
Hey, I'm just telling you.
You're naming a whole bunch of Xbox Studio games, and that's the problem. That's the problem.
So Compulsion is niche.
Why are they making these types of games that are so niche when they need bangers?
Hold on. Obsidian is not niche, bro. Like, Outer Worlds sold
100% is niche,
dude. Obsidian Entertainment, Outer Worlds sold over 5 million copies.
Like, they sell 700,000 copies. Okay, they sell shit. Their biggest game is Outer Worlds.
They
bangers. They don't sell.
Yes,
bottom line,
Xbox needs bangers, Pillars. Well, time out.
They need them.
The point is that Pillars of Eternity was fucking crowdfunded, so they made what they were able to within their money. Outer Worlds, they got funding and sold over 5 million.
And they're going to continue to be niche. Avowed isn't going to sell 20 million copies, folks.
No. It's not going to sell 20 million. But it's also not going to have less than 3,000 people or 3,000 people playing it at its peak on Steam.
It's probably still going to be pretty small. I think
it's going to be a little bit bigger than you think.
I don't think it's going to be that big.
Mav, that's the problem. Mav in the chat says this is what the studios want to make. Well, Tango Gameworks wanted to make Hi-Fi Rush, and they're gone now. They're gone. Even though that game was critically acclaimed, it's gone.
Well, hey, then if everything that Xbox is doing is niche, Hargeet, then they have a fucking bigger problem.
That's what I'm talking about. It opens up that bigger problem. You named all these games from Xbox that are niche, and it's like, why is this being greenlit?
So I'll tell you why, and it's simple. I, as a consumer, like those games, and there are people like me who like those games.
But
and that's
very
the problem,
few,
right? The assumption is that everything should be made for you.
No. They have to look at games for the masses, not just for you, me, or Zalker.
You mean like, I don't know, Call of Duty, like Halo, like Gears, like Forza, like Minecraft?
No, they have to make these games
like Diablo, like
So
World
you're
of
telling me-
Warcraft. I mean, how many do they need?
Hargeet, you're telling me
How many do they need?
You're telling me they couldn't have made Hellblade 2 a bit more appealing for other gamers.
No,
They could have.
100% no.
Yeah, they could have.
Why change the game because you don't like it?
Because you press fucking up to fucking be bored the whole game. 90% of the game was holding the left stick up. Seriously, that was 90% of this game. People, if you have not played it, that is 90% of this
Detroit
game.
become
is
human
holding
like
up.
that? Yes.
Holding
Is
up the
Stray
left
like
stick.
that? Yes. So should they not make those games?
No, yeah,
like, no.
at
stop.
least
This
at
is
least
the way
you
it
get to at least you get to stop and jump with the cat. You know, button prompts and stuff. You get to do things like that. Like you seriously
turn on the
held
HUD
that
if you
left
really need
stick.
it. But
The 90% of the game, you held that left stick, and that's,
Okay.
that's most of the game.
Again, the games that you're bringing up again, and this is the whole point, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah.
Is
Those other ones were
games?
games,
I don't know
though.
about Stray. I don't know about Stray, to be quite honest. But Detroit Become Human is well written. Hellblade 2 is not well written. The number two, not number one. Number 2 is not. Dude, it's just not. It's not, to me at least. It's not well written. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, it doesn't go together. When writing is the peak of what you're doing, just like Telltale games. If a Telltale game comes out and it's not well written, people are gonna be like, "What the fuck am I playing?"
Dude,
this for?
1886.
That's the whole point.
Order 1886 is beyond Hellblade 2. Like much better game. Much better game. Order 1886
we can
different
disagree.
weapons and yeah,
Yeah,
it
we
was
are
a
going to
much
disagree.
better
That's
game.
fine.
No,
Much better.
that's fine. We can disagree
But
and
I
all
guess
that. Like,
if you
it just
think that that's the
is.
case, like, and this, by the way, is exactly why I don't think Xbox will ever win. They just will never win because they
Not
wanted
if
to
they
go
keep
with
creating
you make whatever
niche
you want,
games. If they keep saying make whatever
Which
you
they
want,
won't.
studios, they're never going to win.
which otherwise means all those studios are going to get shut down.
So do you
And
think
that's a
like,
problem?
so
That's a
are you
problem.
okay then?
No, it
Like
isn't.
you got like
No, it
I don't
isn't.
think. I think that's a problem. If like you want these games, right? Then these studios keep getting shut down. You're not going to get the games that you want.
Yeah,
either,
exactly. It's a problem for all
Well,
of us.
Right? Like that's a problem.
That's the way it is. Because look, no matter what Xbox does, they will never win. Right? They can never please anybody. It's just the way it is. They could give you a 10 out of 10 games in a row, and it'll still not be good enough. There's just no way for them to win.
What are you
Because
talking
there's
about?
always these goalposts that this game wasn't made for me. Why did you make Flight Sim when that was shit? Nobody wanted to play it. Why did you know, like, why is Deathloop going over there? Why is this? Why do we have Grounded and why do we have Pentiment? Why don't we have? It's always the same, right? Those games are all good. Pentiment was fantastic. Which one of you played it?
No,
I did because of you.
What did you think?
I mean, I thought actually, to be quite honest, I was like, I can see why people enjoy this. And that's the point. Like, I saw the writing, I saw some of the mystery. Then when the murder happened, I was like, oh, this is actually intrigue. It kind of piqued intrigue, right? Like,
Right.
that's what it did. No intrigue was piqued at all in Hellblade.
One of the better games, right? But again, how many people played it? They had to put it on other platforms, and how many people bought it? Like 0. Like, this is the problem, right? So now, for people like me, that's fantastic. I love those kind of games.
So
But there's very few of us because most of you want those big blockbuster thingies and don't give any chance to these smaller games.
So I will
the
say
way it
this. I will say this,
Yeah,
Hargeet.
most
I don't
gamers
want.
do,
I
yeah.
actually don't want these smaller games to go anywhere. I do want
But
them
they
to
are.
make
They're
it.
gonna die.
But no.
There's no way
But to
around
me, it's like directors and it's like movie producers and it's like people that make stuff. Like if you look at actors, the way they do things
Mhm.
is they have a franchise that they play ball with the publishers that bring them out,
Yep.
and then they go do their artsy fartsy films that they get funded. That's what should happen. But Ninja Theory hasn't brought out anything that is worth a fucking anything to
Yeah,
Xbox when it comes to straight hard dollars.
Since
If
they've been
bring out a
acquired,
game-
they brought out 2
like-
artsy games.
No. The first one was actually like a live
Bleeding,
service.
Edge,
game,
Bleeding Edge was their I'm sorry, not artsy game,
Passion
but it was
project.
their passion project. So both
It was
games were
6
sort of passion
people's.
projects. All their games have been like passion projects, if you want to be real.
Yeah, and
Hellblade.
this is why
Yeah, of
Ninja Theory to me is even on the map is because of Hellblade 1 and that passion project. And that's why it was so cool because it felt 20 developers, 25 developers. It was like very personal. And you're like, wow, this is kind of insane that they made this with 25 or 20 developers. That's not like 80 to 85 is not a small game. It was like what, double the budget of what it took for the first one. And this is what we get. Like, I'm just saying. And as for the like Hargeet, I get what you're saying that she's human and like weak and like she actually is mortal, but also you're fighting fucking giants. Like at this point, you can take liberties on what things are within the combat. You can take liberties on there to have her imagination be like, no, I can do this. Things are disappearing. You're putting swords into walls and then getting them
Magic
back. You're
mirrors.
doing crazy magic mirrors that make you more powerful, which is like a play on like when you look at yourself, you become more powerful and you reflect and you can take down the demons within you. Ooh, fucking we. Now you can do that, but no. They kept the combat very basic, and like the best thing I did was sprint at somebody. You could sprint in the game and knock them over, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I like knocked somebody over and fought them. Like that was cool. Like they could take liberties. They chose not to.
I don't
You
even
can
really
also,
have
like,
much of a problem
grab
with that.
weapons from others. You can also
Yeah.
like intercept
I did
weapons.
that.
I
I
don't
did
have
that.
much.
You can also
You know what? I don't have a big
back.
problem with the
You can also
combat.
save some of the other people.
The
right?
combat
There's plenty
wasn't
of things there.
terrible at all.
But-
You know, the combat was fine. It was good. I would say that, you know, even the animations during and stuff was really good because it was almost like you were playing, I hate to say this, a Sony game where it's like a QTE event because it looks so good, but it wasn't a QTE. You were actually controlling it. That's what made it really
Yeah,
good.
by the way,
and
it's all
visceral.
mocapped.
Yeah, it
That's
looked
all
really
mocap.
good, really visceral, really brutal. I didn't take much umbrage with that, but for me, it's mostly the story and how they present the story to you and how you're walking 90% of the game that I just could not stand. And again, going back to the first game, it's why I quit the first game. I ended up completing this when somebody in the chat asked me why I put a score on this. It's because I completed it. I finished the whole game. You can check my stats. I just didn't care for the experience. I did not like it.
Yeah, and
whatsoever.
so, by the way, I
and
think
that's
that's
fine.
going to happen with many more of the games that they put out. You're not going to like
and
them.
that's
They're
what's
just not for
sad
you.
because here's the thing. I like old Ninja Theory. I liked Enslaved. I liked Heavenly Sword. I thought they were great games.
DMC 5.
DMC, yeah, Devil May Cry. Like, yeah, they had decent games. It's just, I don't know. I don't know why they decide to put all their eggs in this.
And just so
Hellblade basket.
everybody knows, I almost have like 1,000 out of 1,000 achievements on Bleeding Edge. I actually fucking enjoyed that
You
game because I
played
like
Bleeding
PvP.
Ass? Wow.
I played Bleeding Ass a lot. And actually the funny thing is Colt got like toe socks for it when he went to E3.
Yeah, he
and
did.
like he was like, all he would do is send me pictures of the toe socks. I just want you guys to know the stupidity that we do in the background because I liked Bleeding Edge. I was like, I'm actually enjoying it. And people are like, no, you're not. Oh shit, you almost have 1,000 achievements on it. I'm like, dude, like I'm actually having fun playing this. So like that's just me. And I get it. And the one thing I don't like is that people saying, well, you just don't get it. No, I get it. I just don't like it. It doesn't hit well. And that's it. And that's it. It has nothing to do with getting. You're not like nobody's like seeing this in a different perspective of like, you're just not seeing it. No, I see it. I know what it is. I know the message is trying to get across.
You just hate it. And that's
I just
fine.
don't like it. And it is what it is. And that's fine. And that's why we can move on from it. And by the way, just so everybody knows, I posted my 5. I gave it a 5 out of 10. And I almost gave it like a freaking 4 because of the ending. That's how much I hated that ending. I was like, the fuck is going on?
And I went up from an 8.5 to 9 because of the ending.
Jesus. And because the one reason why is because when Halo Infinite came out, that's one of the most fun campaigns I've had by myself. I just fucking I did everything on that game and that map. And so when the ending happened, I was like, oh, that was kind of abrupt. And people murdered that game for its ending. And I'm like, dude, Hellblade is leaps and bounds worse.
You know, when we find out,
neither did I.
When we find out everything about those giants and stuff at the end, at that moment, at the very end where it ended, I was thinking to myself, well, all of this shit's made up in her head. Everybody in here, in my opinion, is probably made up in her head. So we don't know. We don't know.
Spoilers?
You don't know.
Spoilers?
It's not spoiler. Like, that's what it is, right? You're hallucinating a lot of the game. Like, if you played
the
the
whole
first
game
one.
is like
Spoilers?
that.
Like, let's not talk about what happens in the game. Like, let's just leave that alone.
Hey, guys, hold on. Time out. You walk forward. Fuck, sorry. Spoiler for 90% of the game.
Yeah,
I broke it. My bad, boys. Hargeet's face, you motherfucker.
I don't care about the walking.
Chats.
Like, you guys make that out to be like such a bad thing. I play games where you do no combat whatsoever. I play those all the time.
Yeah, I know,
so,
but at least here's the thing. Here's the thing. Walking simulators. Here's the thing about walking simulators that I don't agree with you on this, Hargeet. In walking simulators, again, There's tangible things in the world. You can pick stuff up, find clues, go on to the next thing. The story is compelling and driving you to move on. That's the way I feel in walking simulators. In this
puzzle
game,
games where the story is like,
I don't get that. I'm walking and then occasionally crawling through stuff really slow, by the way. The crawling in this game is like so slow and like, oh my God, I can't get through this. Some of the moments in this game are so boring. I literally fell asleep.
So it never conveyed to you what that means? Like the whole point of that is it's like
fell asleep
trying to struggle through this.
And
right?
I'm not kidding.
Anyways,
I fell asleep. I woke up and I said, you know what? I got to wake myself up even more. I went and washed the car, came back, finished the game. And then I was like, yeah, no. It's not very good. Let me get through some of these super chats real quick.
Do your
Zalker is okay. $5 super chat from Danny Passion says Zalker is everything. I'm sorry. I meant to said that this year would have been so dry, but Zalker got in my way. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's talking about the games that he talked about when they came out a year later.
Danny Passion again with the 5. Thank you very much, Danny. I appreciate you. He says, as an artist and storyteller myself, what 80 people did with Hellblade 2 is breathtaking. The first gameplay reveal was exactly what the game is. RDX Son of Fat with the 279 says IGN is a monopoly. I loved Hellblade, Miss Dealer. Yeah, we do too. Patrick is, I don't know how to say your last name. Sorry, Patrick, but thank you for the, I think it's Nigerian currency, 200 from the Nigerian currency. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. He didn't say anything at all, just sent that. Danny Passion once again with the 5 says, Fonz, why Ghost of Tsushima doesn't have lock on? I had a better time with Hellblade 2 than Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost combat sucks, not even lock on.
What the fuck?
Danny,
Ghost of Tsushima has some of the goddamn best combat in gaming I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Next to God of War.
Look. You can complain about the no lock on. I like that it doesn't have lock on. I like going to each guy I want to go to and fight. It tells you in the tutorial what, you can just push the stick and go here and there. You don't have to lock on to anybody. It kind of automatically does that for you. But I love the game. So it doesn't hurt me that you say that, by the way. I don't know if you're trying to get under my skin, but it doesn't work because games like this, it's video games.
I banned him already. Fuck you, Danny.
No,
I banned him for that.
I love Danny.
It's
Danny's
over.
a good guy. Mike with a $5 says, are we really getting mad that Hellblade 2 is not God of War? If Xbox can support devs in making niche games and having creative freedom, that's a good thing. Yes, it is a good thing. But here's the problem with that. When all you're creating is niche games, that's a problem. That's a problem for your, and we talk about all the time, Xbox can never win. Xbox can never win. Because of this. You keep letting studios build games that aren't appealing to the masses. And I'm sorry, like you can love a game. You can freaking absolutely love a game. But if it doesn't appeal, if it doesn't sell to everyone, then
how many games does anybody make that appeal to the masses?
Here's the thing though. You can make games that appeal more to the masses. Not to every single person, of course, but you can make them more appealing. And if you, I don't want to bring it up, but if you look at Nintendo, if you look at Sony, they make games that appeal to more people.
Sony makes like 3 games that appeal to the masses. That's it.
I'm sorry. They have more franchises.
Did Bend Studio get a sequel? No, because their game didn't sell.
I know. It did not appeal to the masses. That darn PlayStation
Ratchet
tax,
and Clank barely sold a million copies.
PlayStation tax. I can't believe it.
Whatever.
Yeah. Days Gone got a 71 Metacritic. Days Gone got a 71 Metacritic. And that is a shame, in my opinion. And nobody's screaming PlayStation tax. Nobody.
Right? Ratchet and Clank.
Only Xbox guys are the only ones that scream Xbox tax all the time.
They don't sell. But like, what games do they make that sell? Spider-Man, which is not their IP.
God of War. The Last of Us.
Maybe you could say Horizon. Maybe
Horizon.
The Last of Us failed. It got to like 10, 12 million, and then like they actually shipped more copies than they sold.
Wait a minute. If you're saying that's a failure,
it's a failure from their perspective.
What are Xbox games? If that's
it's a failure from their perspective. They literally shipped more copies than they sold.
That's not the point. The point is they're still selling more than the
So
Xbox
Last of Us
games
1, by the
are.
way, is one of their faraway hits, right? Last of Us 1 sold a
Yes,
ton.
yes.
It sold
Right?
like over 20 million or some shit.
30
Or
million.
30
Yeah,
million.
it's ridiculous. Because they separated out the Last of Us 1, the actual one that came out on PS3, and then the remasters. Those are counted separately. So if you combine them, it's over 30 million. But yeah, so that's one of their biggest hits. But there aren't a lot of games over there that sell. Like Sea of Thieves still has more players than all of those games. All of them.
And so actually Hargeet, my boy, me, so everybody knows this. Me and Hargeet talk on Xbox Party Chat as much as we can when we're not busy. And I told him this. I actually want more games from Xbox like that. I want Sea of Thieves. I like multiplayer co-op driven games. That is me, right? Like that's just me. And so like them getting, that's why everybody was like, why do you like ABK? I'm like, because I like Call of Duty. I like World of Warcraft. I like Diablo. I like those type of games. And that's what I want. That's what I want Xbox to focus on. So that's just me. That's why I became an Xbox fan, because Gears of War, because of Halo, because of those games that were multiplayer focused. That's just me, Zalker. Me. That's what I want. As for PlayStation, I've said that their biggest one right now, and it actually passed all of their games, is Helldivers 2.
Helldivers.
That game just blew up. And that game is for the masses.
Hey, what's the second one? Ghost of Tsushima for them.
No, the second one is God of War.
No, it blew past God of War. It blew past God of War on PC.
I won't sit here and take the besmirchment of Kratos.
It just did. It sold over 10
console,
million.
Right?
It sold over 10 million on console, and now it's their second next to Helldivers 2 most sold game on PC. Ghost of Tsushima is doing numbers, and that's a new IP. Hargeet.
Well, okay, but so we'll see if Thieves now is Grounded a new IP. Yep. How many players? 25 million.
Yeah, but we're talking
beating
players,
those PlayStation games. Sorry, but they are.
We're talking players on Game Pass versus sales, right?
Well, I mean, yes, but Sea of Thieves also sold like over 10 million copies on Steam. So that's sales, is it not?
See, and this is where I'm going with like, so Sea of Thieves is like a 6 on Metacritic or whatever the fuck it is. And I don't agree with that at all. And I don't care.
But an 80-something when it comes to PlayStation. The Sea of Thieves release on PlayStation. Well, listen,
that's still like what is it? 8 years of updates that went to the PlayStation. Like that game right now is like a 9.5. I'm not even fucking joking. Screw anybody that thinks otherwise. That game has so much content, so much stuff in it. It is so well done. And that's because Xbox didn't have faith in the game and then realized, oh, we have something here, kind of like Helldivers. They're like, oh, we have something here. And so that's what happened, is they gave them money. So I get why the skew of like the Metacritic comparatively, because Sea of Thieves was a completely different game when it launched. Now, as for big games, like I get it. Like there are a lot of games, like Hargeet is right. How many games do appeal to masses? Not a lot. It's very hard for people to break in. Like the game that just released a few months ago is called The Finals, which is a shooter game. I really enjoyed playing that game, but the developer just came out. The X Defiant just had 2 million people in one day. Now, I will say this. There's games out there that are just not hitting. The Finals developer said that it's below expectations because there is so much things fighting for our time and our energy to, especially games. Games are oversaturated right now. There's so much. Anybody is saying like, there's nothing to play. You're like, what are you talking about? Like, sorry,
go back to Fortnite,
I just totally like hiccuped.
You just totally like burped and hiccuped at the same time.
And like literally, I almost choked.
Yeah.
So and as far as like the biggest game of all time is Minecraft, right? The most sold copies, period. Is that not a big enough game? Like,
wait, did that sell more than GTA 5?
Mainstream? Yes. Oh yeah. Way higher than GTA 5. Right?
I'm
GTA
trying to think of a
like
number.
In the 60, 70 million range. This is 300 plus million.
Oh no, GTA just said. Didn't GTA just hit 200 million?
Maybe it has gotten to 200 million, but it's still not 300 million.
No, okay, I thought that was 200.
The ones that are at the top are Tetris and Minecraft, and they kind of swap spaces because they're still making more Tetris, editions.
Tetris Connect is so fun, by the way.
It is, by the way. Yes, it is. It is very good.
It's addicting.
But yeah, so the top game like of all time is Minecraft, right? And so is that 200 million now for what we call GTA 5.
Yeah, I was right. Okay.
So, but yeah, so like the like mainstream games. They have them. I mean, I don't like What else can you have? COD.
So-
Is that
so-
not mainstream? I mean,
so,
yeah,
like,
of
I
course,
think-
COD,
so-
but I mean, they just acquired them, so it's
that was the point, right? So they
it's
have
still
that now.
of course, but here's the thing: we still have to see COD come out to Game Pass. We still have to have that happen. Like it hasn't happened yet. There's so many Activision games still left out there. They're not even there yet on Game Pass, which is still beyond me. I don't get it. To me, it's
I think
just
they're
like,
coming this summer, and I think they're going to announce a bunch of them at the game show.
They should, because they need to be.
And I think they're
Game
testing
Pass.
it because when they put Diablo out there, like Diablo's great. It has it's on Game Pass, and the new season. And then I think they wanted to get it out there before the new season because this new season, I don't know if anybody's noticed, Diablo 4's new season is actually really fucking good. Like they actually revamped the game.
Yeah, my brother's been playing a
of,
lot of it lately. So
yeah, I actually installed it again because most of my friends are like, "Hey, man, you need to come back. It's actually very well to jump in right now. Like it's a very good spot. So it's doing well. So I think they push that specifically to get it before the season. Now the rest of the stuff, they're kind of like, you know what? There's no rush. Let's make sure when we bring these out that they're not broken. Like I'm saying, like connectivity wise. So we'll see what happens.
For every one of that, there's going to be a death loop, which you won't like. And it's just the way it is. Like it is.
No,
what it is.
You're right because there's got to be these games. I would call them fillers, stuff like Hellblade being put into Game Pass for those the niche audience. It's just stuff in between the bigger games, right?
Yep.
So that's fine. Just hopefully they don't start closing studios down because hey, they're not selling or not getting enough engagement.
Hey,
I don't know.
I will say this. Me and Hargeet kind of talked about this a little bit offline. I think that the studios being closed down is because one of the reasons why Xbox bought a lot of the studios is because they just needed manpower. Well, now they have so much manpower. Like Activision, ABK deal changed everything. So them closing down a studio isn't like, oh no, like we lost 100 people. We're screwed over. They don't care anymore. Like, and they're going to, going to focus on big, like, and that's what you're going to do. They're going to focus on big games. Like they just opened up a new Activision studio or Blizzard studio that is AAA focused. And they're building that out.
Activision elsewhere.
Yeah,
right?
Activision, Elseworld. And they're building that out. Like, and the rumor, I heard the rumor is like maybe like, I think they said it's kind of like going to be like a From Software game set in World of Warcraft, which if that happens, I would fucking shit myself. Like that is one of the rumors I heard from that. I doubt it's that.
IP. So that would not be Warcraft.
Well,
then,
it would be. World of Warcraft's the IP, but that type would.
By the way, before we move on completely, I just want to end cap the whole Hellblade 2 talk. With that situation, so Ninja Theory, their next game, Hargeet, what are you expecting from that? Are you expecting another, or maybe Hellblade 3, or something completely different? It's been greenlit, way, supposedly.
The rest of these, there's
Project Mara, Project Mara,
RDX Son of Fett, Super Chat. Zalker is a fraud. Did you get that one? Miss you, bro. I don't know if you got that one. There was also a member for 2 months, BT Maverick 707. Curious, why play it? Do you guys walk into restaurants with a specific food you guys don't like and try to see if you all of a sudden love Hellblade?
I don't have that, and I've got it open on the website.
See, I'm sorry, that comment by that person that's saying, do you walk into a restaurant? No, I walk into a restaurant and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll try this out and see if I like it. And then I finish my meal and go, that fucking sucked. And I walk away. Yet in gaming, if you try it for an hour or 2 hours, people say, well, you don't even know what the fuck it's about. You didn't play it. So you know what? That's, to me, it's more of a toxic
I think it's
thing.
fair to give it a chance because I do that all the time, right, Zalker? I know,
I'm on there with you when you're doing that.
Case in point, Pal World.
If it isn't
Pal World,
I'm done.
I didn't want to play Pal World. I tried it and I ended up liking the game.
Tried it and liked it.
Hey, you guys want to know my fucking hot take on Power World? And I told Hargeet this earlier. I think I told you, Fonz, too. Power World is, I think, what Everwild was supposed to be, and they just didn't get it.
Yeah.
Because Power World, you get all your buddies, you get all the little animals to help you do shit and build shit. Yeah. I think they were building that out, and just like Sea of Thieves, I really do think that people within Rare, and I think Xbox were like, what is this game? Like, what are we doing? And because remember, they said there's not much combat in it, if any. And they're like, you just kind of do stuff with animals in the world. Well, we saw how big Power World was. I really do think that Everwild was supposed to be that, and they didn't get it, and they changed it.
And just like Sea of Thieves, they didn't get it, right? And like they should just let them cook. This is exactly why it's just better to let the studio do its thing, because it could have easily been a very graphically impressive Pal World, right? So anyway, whatever.
and that's the thing. Like, let them do their thing, and who knows? I could be talking out of my ass, but that's what I think.
Oh, you know why I think that didn't work? I think BT's was probably a membership thing, right?
It is a membership.
Okay,
There's
that's
another
why
one,
it's
Sith
not
Lord.
showing up. What did Sith
Member
Lord
for
say?
7 months. Yeah, I have 3 TVs on Indy 500, Coke 600, and you guys.
Wow, thank you very much, Sith. I appreciate you, man. Turn off the Indy 500 though. It sucks.
And you got the Jax one, right? The Jax 82 at the end.
Jax with the 499. I have that. I'm feeling Hellblade 2 is not getting the recognition it deserves. It's sad people won't give this game a chance. I enjoy it. Why so much hate for it? I don't think there's a lot of hate for the game necessarily. I think that there's a lot of people who won't even try it only because they probably didn't like the first, or they're hearing, oh, well, it's just short gameplay and it's $50 and they don't want to spend it.
What I think it is that like even in Game Pass, like I'll be honest, I told Colt this too. Colt was saying that the outliers are the people giving it negative reviews because most of the people gave it positive reviews. And I honestly think that the outliers are the people that are actually playing this fucking game, because I think it's so niche that so little people outside of the group of people I know on YouTube, the community who I love talking to you guys about games, because everybody here listening on the chat, everybody that talks to us on Twitter, we're fucking hardcore gamers. We are not the general audience. We're the ones playing it. And I think, and I've said this before, this game, the one thing that I think it aimed out to be is what Hargeet said. It's not supposed to be fun. It is a grueling thing to get through, because that's what the person in the game is going through, is something grueling.
It's much like The Last of Us 2. Much like The Last of Us 2 story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I will say that the going through the mind, getting through this, it's grueling, and it's supposed to be tough for you because it puts a microscope into the lens of like somebody that might have this sickness, and you're only having this sickness for 5.5 hours, right? Like the gameplay
they have it permanently all day,
and they have it all day, every day for their whole life, for every minute. So it's really hard.
Beautiful Mind? Is that
Beautiful Mind? Yeah,
A Beautiful Mind.
The same, yeah, right. There's another movie I won't mention, but there's another movie that kind of delves into the same thing, but it kind of gives it away. Well, the first rule: we shall not talk about it.
And the second rule is don't fucking talk about it.
I have a very good friend with issues, and just it is what it is.
So that's why I think people are like, well, you're not giving it a chance. Well, a lot of people they don't want to play a game that's going to be grueling, like not fun. Because that's what it was not fun for me to sit there. And like Fonz says, I have people that I know in my life that deal with, not me or anything, people that I know that deal with this stuff. And it made me think of them. And I was like, fuck, this is not fun to play. This isn't great. Like, this isn't like, I don't want to sit here and play it. And it's not fun. And then I try to put that away. And I was like, let me look at the writing and the way they're putting this, because this is at the end of the day entertainment. And that's what it is. It's a game. It's entertainment. And then they made it more cinematic, so it feels like a movie experience entertainment within a game. So that's where I judged it, and I was going forward with it. And I don't think a lot of people are going to play this. I do not think it's going to move the needle numbers wise and all the stuff that stakeholders. No, not at all. And we know that it's going to be an extremely small game. Now, and because of that, I don't think it's going to be as big as a flop as Redfall was, because Redfall was supposed to push the needle. It's supposed to be a big new franchise. They ended their show on it. It was supposed to be and then it was just like. So that's something I think goes in the favor of Ninja Theory. But I do think Ninja Theory needs to, if they want to keep making these games, you got to play ball a little, man, and bring out a game that does appeal to more of an audience. Like, that's just me. You could still tell a great story.
To that point, Fonz, you asked what was the next game going to be, right? And
that's what I'm wondering. Because I'm looking forward to Project Mara, even though it's more horror.
Yeah, I mean, like besides Project Mara, right? We assume that's coming. That's whatever, and that's going to be like a horror thriller type game, right? So okay, fine. Which, by the way, is not my genre. I actually do not like them. I'll give it a chance, but
you give everything a chance. That's what I like about Hargeet. He plays pretty much everything. He'll
I'll just try it, but it's like
he'll try everything.
But as far as like the next game I'd like them to make, I'm kind of with you on that. I would like them to go back to something like Enslaved, right? That was them,
me
right?
too. Me too.
Let's go,
100%.
bro.
Right?
Down.
I'd like something like that.
Yeah.
Just because it's just more fun to me. Like it's an open world, maybe not even open world. Just it's more fun in the character design, what you're doing. You're like doing some platforming stuff along with shooting
stuff that
and whatever,
appeals
like,
to more people. Yeah,
so it's just
yeah,
it's like more, and it's just mind like all the way out there, right? This is not like real and
because
and
I don't want to get it twisted. Ninja Theory is not a terrible studio, guys. I like Ninja Theory. They've had some
they make awesome
fantastic games.
They're
trash.
trash.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind them doing that.
All right.
I don't know who owns that. Do they own it? Who published
They
that
don't
game,
own
right?
Enslave. I think it's is it Bandai or no, not Bandai.
Okay, so whoever owns it,
I think they own it. And then Heavenly Sword is one that I like that they made, but
that's
Sony owns it.
PlayStation, maybe.
Sony
Do you
owns
guys remember that one game that got canceled that they were making that they had a cinematic for that looked fucking dope? It looked insane. Like they're fighting aliens. The combat looked dope.
It was Bandai, guys.
All this stuff Bandai owns.
Okay, that's right.
I want to see if chat remembers that game, man, because that's one of the games I thought about where I was like, go back to that. If you're given the budget to make a AAA game, like go back to that thing, because that cinematic, the way they were pitching that game looked freaking insane.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think they should get a AAA budget. And I think one of the things that you kind of got as far as what Matt Booty was saying after they closed Tango, I think Tango had a AAA budget. And the problem with that is they didn't produce AAA financials, right? So I think it's better for the Ninja Theory to stay small. They did the same thing with Compulsion. They said, Compulsion said, hey, can we get more people?
They spent a lot on hi-fi?
I would expect they did, because first off, it's in Japan, right? Japan is a very expensive place to hire people. It just is. So if you're gonna get that over there, it's gonna be kind of pricey. But I think Compulsion is the same thing. They said, hey, can we get more people? They're like, no, I think you're good at your size that you're at, and because I think they want to constrain them to say, I don't want your budget to be overblown, because then I can cover you with Game Pass. I don't need you to then produce results, right? So I think that kind of works in Ninja Theory's favor, because they have two teams running right now with 80 people. One's working on Mara, one's working on this, and the budget for this is 50 million, right? That's it sounds like a lot, but really in the game budgets of these days with AAA being 200-300 million, it's like that's not that bad. And they can probably cover that and say, hey, over 5 years, 6 years, we gave you 50 million and you were able to put this up. This is great. That's good enough. We want small games that have somewhat critical acclaim. And this 81 is not a bad score, right? 81 is a very good score. So I think this did exactly what they needed. I think this is what they were looking for from them. And they'll probably do more in line of that, right? So if they even make another one in a triple I fashion, right? That's kind of this thing that Ninja Theory created, right? The indie that happens to be kind of triple A, but not really, right? That I think that's fine, right? If the budget for the next game is still 50 million, as long as it gives you something different, I think you'll like it. I think it just needs to be not focused on this, because this is a very niche thing. They chose to do this. I commend them for it, and I said that all the time. I commend them for doing it, but it wasn't for me either. I'm like, but this game sort of hooked me, which I'm like, this is surprising. I really had no interest in this at all, and it's like it surprisingly actually hooked me. So. But maybe it's because I like those elements. You say like the walking part, that's usually stuff I like. I like that walking, trying to observe, and then okay, cool. Because just like Zalker, you found all the little collectibles. That's the thing I like to do. I like to go like observe every nook and say, oh, okay, there's something over there. Let me go check that out, right? So I kind of like that, especially when it's chill.
I
and
I like doing that too. I like doing, but it's not chill. Yeah, so like it's not chill. By the way, it kind of has like kind of horror aspects to it, like some like jump scares sometimes, and I was just like, oh shit, didn't expect that kind of, right? Like has some of those aspects to it too.
So like I loved it. I like this game, and I hope that's what they do. They go like pivot to something different. I know that they're looking for another one, by the way. You can obviously, if you finished it, you understand they're looking for a third, right? It's very obvious that they're looking for a third.
Which I'm kind of sad about. I don't want them to make another, but hey, for you guys that like it, whatever.
Yeah, I also don't think it'll take a long time. I don't think it'll take a long time. If they make a third, because it's kind of already there now, they just need to kind of like just do the mocap, right? And I think they did most of the mocap in a couple of years and put it together. So maybe like a 2.5, 3 year cycle to get this game out, right? Which wouldn't be bad if they get Hellblade 3 out of the way and then go back and do something new. I would like to see them do something like Enslaved, but it could be a new IP. It doesn't matter, right? There's something in that realm though, right? Something in that vein. That would be what I would like to see. But if they continue with this, fine.
Okay, well, let's talk about something much more fun. Let's talk about the Xbox Showcase, guys. So 2 weeks away. Hargeet, I'll be there with you, live in person, watching this showcase, and it's going to be amazing. Too bad you can't make it, Zalker, you fraud.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I actually do have a pretty massive work event that entire
Zalker
weekend.
is a toddler.
He's a toddler.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it's going to be a freaking awesome time. I'm really looking forward to the showcase because I'm hearing rumblings that, and people are telling me it's probably most likely going to be there. Gear 6. Gear 6 is the one game I want to see.
PlayStation.
Go ahead, talk, Zalker. Just talk.
Okay, so this has been going on for years. Not only Gear 6, but I want to start off with the Gears collection. That has been something that has been rumbling for years. I think Special Nick is one of the first people to talk about it. Shout out to Special Nick for getting it wrong for 3 years. Hopefully you get it right this year, you fuck.
Man.
Yeah, Special Nick's my homie.
I do not.
Listen, hey, dude, you guys know I'm a fucking asshole. So, like, you know why I say that? Because I was like, oh, fuck yeah, Special Nick. Let's go, dude. Like, I'm so down. And then it never came every year. And I was even more mad. I have resentment toward him now.
F you, Nick.
I was like, yeah, I don't like Nick no more. So I really hope that it comes out. The Gears collection, especially, because I want to play that whole thing again, redone. And I want to play it with friends. It is one of my favorite franchises next to StarCraft and God of War.
Same. Gears is amazing.
Gears is one of my favorites. So I want to see it. And not just 1 through 3. I even want Judgment in there. I don't care. I want it because I'll play it. So that's just, I know people hated it, but I think that could happen. As for 6, I think it's time because 2 years ago.
Unreal Engine 5, baby. 6.
Exactly.
Woo.
So 2 years ago, or was it 3 years ago? Like the coalition said, hey, we're going to be gone for a little while.
Yeah, they went
We're
dark.
not going to say anything. They even said it publicly. We're going to go dark. We need to work on the tech, aka UE5 and the console, and just get everything right, and we'll be back. And everybody was like, cool, because let's be honest, the coalition carried Xbox last gen. It's not even close.
Yep.
Gears 4, Gears 5, Gears
and
Tactics, everything they brought out, and they brought it out within a pretty damn good time.
And even that small DLC they had, what was it?
Yeah,
Gears?
Hive Busters, which I put like 9 hours into with Shady. Me and him played that whole thing in one day for 9 hours straight. Loved it.
Yeah, I played with Colt and Dealer. It was a lot of fun.
So all that stuff, Gear 6, it's time to announce it. See what they're doing, because I don't know if anybody knows this. A lot of the stuff that Ninja Theory worked on, Coalition helped them with the UE5. A lot of the stuff that everybody's worked on, including, I think, was it what was the game that moved over to UE5? Was it Avowed?
Moved over to
Avowed just moved over. Yeah.
Avowed moved over, and
they helped with Avowed too.
The Coalition.
Coalition,
so the Coalition
knows UE5. Yeah.
By the way, Coalition has 2 studios within their studio. They have the ones creating the games, and then they have like this special tech team that basically is like the ninjas of UE5 that goes and works, and it has employees from Epic there too that work on their stuff, work on the software.
Because they
brought
that together when they bought the IP from Epic. And
yeah,
so a lot of those people came over to that.
Yeah,
new
exactly. And so they go help everyone else, and of course they help the Coalition. They're there. They have all the stuff there. So I want to see Gears 6. I cannot wait. I hope it's there, especially with the Gears collection. Bring out the Gears collection and then have everybody be hyped. Bring it out like a couple months or a year before.
Bro. It's going to be a big moment.
It's going to be huge, bro. Huge.
Can't wait.
And so, because 2019 was when we got Gears 5, it is 5 years now.
Bro.
And if they announce it now and it comes out next year, that's a 6-year development cycle. Let's fucking go. Like, that's what I want.
What if they announce it and it comes out at the end of this year?
Dude, don't fucking say shit that makes me want to cry of happiness.
Gear 6, bro. I've been waiting for him to show anything on this, so I do believe that's going to be there. I've been told behind the scenes that that's probably going to be there, most likely anyway.
If it, dude, don't you're hallucinating like Senua. Like, don't be saying that's coming out this year, right, bro?
I hope not. I want to see it. And I that's just my speculation on it coming out this year. But that would be an amazing announcement. Like if they were like holiday.
It's unusual for them to do that, though, right?
Yeah,
they usually do a teaser, and then the next year they show.
It'll probably most likely be out next year.
Right.
But my wanting for it to be out this year, Hargeet, is just my own speculation, my own hope. We'll call it the hopening. All right. I'm hoping that, I hope that happens this year. So Gear 6, then we have Doom, Dark Ages. Apparently.
Let's fucking go, bro.
Dude, another franchise that's killer that, you know, I have to say, like, I didn't really get into Doom until Doom 2016. And I've loved it ever since. I didn't think I would like Doom Eternal.
Have you played it on your PC yet?
No, I have not.
You need to get your ass. Just stop.
Is it even better? Is it even better than the Series X?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Dude,
Doom
the Series
is
X
such
version.
A PC game, dude. You really want to try it on PC.
On the Series X, it goes up to like 120 frames. It has ray tracing.
So PC, it feels like, okay, well, I don't know actually, because you're going to play with controller. So for me, when you play on mouse and keyboard on the PC, when you play on mouse computer.
Yeah, go ahead.
It feels like when you play Doom Eternal on PC, especially with mouse and keyboard, it is a completely different game, bro. It's not even close. Like it is like because you're so quick and you kill things. I'm almost positive there's more enemies. They're faster. They move quicker. Like it's a little harder, but it's so good. I've beaten Doom Eternal 3 times now, and I've beaten it on the Xbox console, and I beat it on the PC twice.
The difference here is that it's rumored that it might be going to PlayStation day and date.
That's already done. People have confirmed it. Multiple people are saying that.
Doom Dark Ages.
But Fonz, definitely, like, you might have to learn. I don't know if you've played with keyboard mouse, but like
I have. I used to play a lot of WoW, World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And you know, but again, that's a different type of game. So I had a lot of macros and stuff. This is different.
It might be
shooters,
worth it to try it.
Shooters, I can't get a hold of it. Like using the mouse.
You might have to like play around and get it, but yeah, that game was designed for that. It's just
I'm sure.
Literally, I mean, to be quite honest, every Bethesda game created is PC. I'll be honest.
Yeah, no,
because they one of the reasons why they had Xbox buy them is because they said our PC is where we're like that's our roots. And that is like they're a PC. It's same with Activision Blizzard. They are PC. Xbox, everybody, is the biggest PC publisher in the game.
Yeah, they are.
They're PC publishers. They're not console publishers. I love everybody here that loves Xbox, but they are PC, and that's why I'm here. It's because I love PC too.
They literally are. It's Windows. Yeah. It's literally them.
Welcome.
Well, I mean, I know a dealer used to hate it when you used to say it, but it's true. Xbox and PC, they're together. KJ Wars 85, thank you very much for becoming a member for another. He's been a member for 10 months. That's awesome. Thank you.
What a G.
King Layton with the 279 says Gears cool on PS5. Vomit emojis. I don't.
That is very disappointing. If that's true, that's very disappointing because, like, okay, you can say that it has like a history, maybe whatever. It has a history on PC, definitely, but it has a history on PlayStation. But so do many other games that get somehow exclusivity on other platforms. So, and if you look at that little graph they created, niche games or multiplayer, or whatever. This should sit kind of okay. Yes, it has like this multiplayer that never worked, but it sits in that middle where it's supposed to be exclusive, and yet they're saying, these are all rumors. We don't even know if it's going to get announced, but let's assume it gets announced that it's coming to PlayStation, like a day and date. Not even like it's going to be exclusive for a while. No, day and date. Like what the heck? What? Why are they not fighting? Like, like at least try to have some exclusives, right? They're just not even bothering, and like, what the heck?
No, Satya hates it. He hates exclusivity. He said that in the court thing. Like,
I don't care what Satya
he's like, I don't care. He's like, I don't understand why it's even like this. So everything's going to go to PlayStation. Everything's going to PlayStation. There is
you have no platform.
There is a big leak. Well, there was a big leak that happened on Discord, funny enough, in January that is proving to be like 100% accurate as the months go by. Like almost to the T accurate, which is kind of mind-boggling. And one of those was that everything, no matter what, nothing, Halo, Gears, Force, everything is coming to PlayStation. Every Xbox after ABK and after getting all of this, and after Starfield, apparently that was another contributing factor because Starfield didn't blow up like they thought it was going to, especially Game Pass wise. Everything is going to be going to PlayStation. It is all third party. Xbox is third party now, and that includes which might get announced here at the showcase, and Jez kind of talked about it. That includes hardware being manufactured by third-party manufacturers.
Like, obvious, right? But
that's going to happen. So Xbox isn't going to be made by just Microsoft. It's going to be made like ROGL, like Asus can make it or whoever, and they get a cut and you pay your games.
Windows, right? It's going to be
going to be Windows. Yeah,
Xbox is dead.
Right? And that's the reason why Steam is going to be on the next Xbox is because it's Windows. It's a Windows machine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's rumors that Xbox might look. I think they're putting like $25 billion to do it.
What?
No, 16.
Or 16 billion.
You're telling me that's only worth $16 billion? I thought
as of like 2022 it was worth 7.5.
What?
Like that.
I thought it was worth a lot more than that. Holy crap!
No.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Steam is beloved too.
An offer of 16, which is these are rumors, very big rumors, but offer of 16, which would be more than enough to pay. I mean, this is all private, right? So there wouldn't be any like you have to put this much above, what the share cost is, right? So it's whatever they work out.
The reason why it's not worth more, Fonz, is because Valve stopped making games, and they started concentrating on their platform. They have Counter-Strike and they have Dota. No, they made like Half-Life Alyx, but like CS2, like they just have CS2 and they have Dota 2 or Dota 2. So they have those games and they make money from them, but they stopped making like. No, they're massive, but they're not. Yeah. They don't make like the half. What do you call it? God, the zombie one. Oh my, Left 4 Dead. They don't make Left 4 Dead. They don't make games like that anymore. They stopped.
Yeah. Well, they do every now and then, right?
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to have hardware made by other companies for Xbox. Man.
Well, for Windows, right? So Xbox essentially would just go away. It would just be Windows that's got an Xbox.
Do you think that the Xbox name is going to go away eventually?
I think so.
I don't know. It's such a big name in gaming. Why would they let it go away?
But they don't care anymore, right? You're saying they're going to go third party, so then it doesn't really matter. It's just Microsoft making games, and they will put them everywhere, and they will, have a Windows that's gamified. Right, that basically has a game UI that they take from Xbox. Like if that's where they're going, that's where they're going. Look, if they bother to make another piece of hardware, it's going to sell like 5 to 10 million copies. Because if they're putting everything everywhere, there's zero impetus to buy it.
I mean, I said this. I said this at the beginning of this gen, and everybody fucking castrated me for it. I said that this console generation for Xbox specifically is going to sell 45 million to 50 million. And everybody was like, there's no fucking way. And I was like, dude, that's just what I think because console sales go down.
Here's my argument, though. What about the people that are buying the consoles for the UI and their friends?
No, the UI would just go to Windows.
Yeah, the UI will go to Windows. So if you plug in a controller or you do something, the UI will be there. It's kind of like when you launch the Steam, like on Steam Deck, there's a whole new UI for it. It's just the Steam UI. And exactly. Like the mobile one. And that's what they'll have for that. The Xbox store.
What about your whole library?
And that's what it would do. It'll play your library.
Yeah, it'll give you your library. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what the backwards and forwards compatibility team that Sarah's putting together is. That's what that is.
Yeah, that's how they got it. And they started this years ago, right? Like 7-8 years ago. They like we're backwards and forward compatible. You could play everything in the controller because they were looking at this 15-year plan of like, we're going to do this and move away from the hardware.
So if you think about that going forward, you say, look, they're not even going to bother with a desktop one. They're just going to give you a portable, just like a VOG Ally, and they'll just make that available to anybody. You want to make one, Lenovo? Sure.
So then at that point, what about consoles? Like what they let any manufacturers make a console or what?
PlayStation and Nintendo play in that realm, and who cares?
So basically, Xbox will be PC and handheld,
and that's it. Yeah. Well, PC, which will be handheld, will also just be PC. It'll just be
like the ROG or like the Steam.
I get it. So wow, that's
and PlayStation will continue to make.
I don't see any obvious other path. If you want to compete with PlayStation, you have to have exclusives because that's the game, right? Otherwise, you have to convince PlayStation that you have to give up your exclusives. Are they going to do that? Maybe, because if they buy Steam, then I guess those exclusives are gone because they come to Xbox then, right? But otherwise, I don't know. Like, how do you take all your stuff and put it there?
Hold on. So here's what's weird about that. If Xbox were to buy Steam, which I'm not for, Hargeet, I know you're for it,
I'm 100% for
But if they were to do that, then essentially you'd be playing those PlayStation games that are already there on Xbox.
Yeah, because Xbox is Windows.
Yeah,
is Xbox.
yeah.
We've already said that, right?
That's
So
crazy. That's crazy.
So it doesn't
So,
really
like,
matter.
and that's pretty funny, right? But I
mhm.
personally want Steam to stay alone because Xbox bought one of the biggest. They've already bought one of the biggest stores on PC, which is BattleNet. I don't care what anybody says; it is one of the biggest, and Steam is the biggest. And I want some competition there because I know Epic is competition to some extent, but not really. People don't want to play on Epic; they just play Fortnite on there, and some people actually do buy stuff on that store. Like I've actually seen that people some turning around and buying stuff, but I do not want to see Microsoft buy Steam. I want Steam to be their
still
competitor.
don't. You know what? To your point on BattleNet, we still don't know what they're going to do with BattleNet.
Leave it the way it is. Like it is
that's
a
what
better. It is
well,
a better store than the Microsoft fucking store, and it's not even close.
I don't know how much I could say because I've talked. I'll say this: I've talked to somebody at BattleNet. This was months ago. Okay, just a couple of months back, and they had no idea what was going on with Microsoft and how they were going to be treated.
They don't know shit
at the time. Like,
well, I mean, you have to work through what that means, right? It's not like it's a 2-minute decision. Well, it shall be this way. It's not going to happen. You have to analyze what it's going to take. That takes time. And you're in a corporate world, Zalker. You know how this goes.
Oh, it's going to take.
Yeah, you're a corporate shill, Zalker. You know.
It just is what it is, right? But look, Zalker, I'll push back on your entire, the competition thing. The competition for what? You're playing games on Windows. That's it. It's their platform. No matter what you do, it's still their platform. So
I just think Steam
that expands Windows. So, and this is not an Xbox play. This is a Windows play, right? So this is just saying, hey, Windows, we just want to take the store that happens to sell the most games on our platform and make it a part of Windows. So
you know what it is? I want to see Xbox actually, Microsoft, to be quite frank, because I think Xbox is Xbox, but I think it's Microsoft at the end of the day. Microsoft has fucked up a lot of shit, Skype, a lot of other things. Steam has a extremely, but barely. Steam has a very, very, very goodwill with gamers. Steam is very well run, very well done,
man.
And I truly think that the Steam Deck is one of the best hardwares to come out in the last 15 years. The way they made everything on that thing, it just works, and it works flawlessly, and it's so well done, and they support it, and they help people, and they made it so much, like, it put the consoles to shame to me. Like, the way they made everything so consumer friendly. Like, every little part, if it breaks, you can fix it. They really are customer focused, and I don't see Microsoft really being that way. So I need them to turn that around and see it before they get Steam.
Okay,
like,
so
that's just me. That's just me.
Not customer focused?
Fuck no, man. Phil is like ready to cut throats, bro. Let's be real. Phil is like ready to move forward.
I don't think he's cutthroat, and yet he's putting his games on his competition's platform.
Listen, because he wants. Because I think Phil, to me, like, I know Phil's like, I know everybody thinks he's a nice guy, but to get up that high, you gotta fuck some people over. I don't look at Phil as like this nice guy that wears gaming shirts and like things. I look at him as like a businessman. That dude knows what he's doing. He's got a good brain on him, and he's kicking ass, man.
Did you hear what he said during that time when people were just flying off the handle and he was playing Diablo?
Oh boy.
I really like playing Diablo 4 when the Xbox community is just burning down around me.
I hate you so
much. I can't believe he said that. But yeah,
you're such a dude. AI, everybody, don't like quote that shit. And then
no, he said that. He said that. He also said this.
Keep crying all you want, but your games are still going to PlayStation.
Dude, this was a conversation we had, me and him. Yeah, so
you're such a. I'm the fraud. I don't think so, dude.
But anyway, so like, as far as buying Valve, I just don't see that being that big of an issue. But anyways, if they buy them, yes, they can just leave that part of it alone, let them continue to run the way they do. But I don't know why that would be a negative for the consumer. Like, you have to show me where it's a negative. They're the ones.
Well, they already took out the biggest competitor, which was BattleNet, to Steam, like really big, and then Epic is there. Well, I mean, no, they just took like they own them. So like for me, I love
competitor.
Steam. I love Steam the way it is, right? Like, and Colt and everybody makes fun of me. They're like, when you make your videos, put Gabe on your thumbnails.
Yeah, put
And I
Gabe on your
laugh because
thumbnails.
I'm like, let's go, dude. Because Gabe is the goat.
Why does he
Like,
always say that though? Because you always have Phil on your thumbnail, so he's like
100%. I
Yeah,
do, and at this point, it's a troll.
exactly.
At this point, it's a troll. I do it out of like I have like 5 Phil images. I just throw on there, and I'm like, "What up, Phil? How's
Thank
it
you,
going, dude?"
Highlander001, for becoming a supporter yet again. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and I will say this: that the PC gamers will fucking lose their shit.
Oh,
And
100%.
Hey, you guys
100%.
can say all. You guys can say
100%.
all you want, but PC gamers are fucking a different breed, bro. Look at what happened to Helldiver.
Hey.
Buy that Linux machine. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude! Which Steam is trying to do, by the way.
By the way, King Layton in the chat, thank you for the 279. He says, "I'm a resent them forever if they force me to buy a PC."
Well, you're not buying a PC; you're buying a console. That's basically a PC. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, your Xbox, if you have one, is already running Windows.
By the way,
Yeah,
before
and
this,
they'll have.
I just want to say this real quick. Jerry with the $5 says, "Hope you and the family have been well, Fonz. Always a great time here with you cats. Glad to see Zalker making an appearance. Stay well, gents." Yeah, appreciate
Good
you,
to have
Jerry.
you back, Soccer.
It's good to see Jerry in the chat. Yeah, he's been in our chats for many years for RDX. He used to be in party chats with us all the time, by the way, Zalker, back in the day. Good
Nice.
dude. All right, we can keep talking.
Back to it.
Let's talk about more about this show. So, what else are they saying that might be there? Perfect Dark might show up.
So here I'll go
knows?
through it. So I heard. So this is what like some of the because the leaks are kind of getting insane. Where the point where it's like, oh, these are getting
It's too
confirmed, and
much.
people are avoiding stuff. So State of Decay 3 apparently looks far more impressive than its predecessor. That they really pushed the boundaries of what they can do. It was in some development hell for a little bit, but it feels like they actually got out of it. Dude,
State of Decay is one of those franchises. I love the first one. Okay. The second one, not so much. I played a little bit, but it just doesn't do enough. So the third one, I'm hoping that it really does push the boundaries of what we saw, I hope it's a better game, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of this one. So I'm excited to see it.
I think it's kind of a little bit of a dark horse of how good it could be. I didn't like the first one that much. Second one I thought was okay, and I played a lot of it with Dealer, but it was janky for me. And I'm not big into Survivor games. Like Survivor, like gotta scravenge, you gotta go look through a goddamn, you gotta go look through a toilet to find parts. Like I'm just like, that's not my type of shit.
But imagine this, because I've said this before. Imagine that they have sort of a faction thing going on online against other people, and you got to fight through zombies and also other real people, and you could steal from them. That would be amazing.
So if anybody's played the Project Zomboid, some of that kind of shit where you have a community and you're actually going against people,
yes,
or like Walking Dead,
that.
if you're fighting people, like if it was like a evolving open world where you're taking people out, I'm down.
I would love
I'll be playing that.
I would love that.
Hargeet, not every game's for you. So I want.
I'm just saying you're doing exactly the same thing. Like this is not a 5,000 people team. Okay, I think they're barely like I don't even think they're 100. Okay, and now you're expecting them to do shit that just isn't possible. Again, let the game just be what it is instead of having these lofty expectations and then getting disappointed.
But then you're telling me to just you're telling me to just be okay with niche again, and I don't want that. I want big.
And you don't think this game is niche?
No. I do. I do think it's niche. Hargeet, but that's my point. You're telling me to maintain my expectation for just more niche. Like
I
want them to
think
expand.
this game is not niche. This game has over 10 million people that have played it. It sold it. If anybody remembers numbers wise, when it launched, it made more money than God of War 2018. Like, and it was cheaper, so it sold more copies and it just made good money. So like, I'm not saying that it's going to blow up, but they did grow. Like Undead Labs did grow. They made it with like 60, 70 people and then grew after and were over 100. And they opened up a second studio just for animations. I'm not saying it's going to be this big interconnected fucking Fortnite. No, that's not what I'm saying. No,
and I'm not even saying. I'm not even saying it has to be this big graphical, freaking monster masterpiece for a fidelity, but just be the game, it was before, but just expand on the world, expand on what you can do within that world. Like I said, if they opened it up to where you can have factions within and fight against other people, you guys are all, this is a survivor game, so you can actually steal from other people, their rations, their equipment, stuff like that. It would be fun. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying make this look like freaking Hellblade 2. I'm just saying.
And if they're at,
I'm more worried about the implications of having the game do all of that, right? Because you seem to think the graphics is the hard part.
I'm not saying it has
doing
to,
all that
Hargeet.
is a hard thing to do.
Well, actually, Hargeet, have you played, like, I'm being real, have you played State of Decay 2 recently?
Not recently. No, I played it way when it came out.
Yeah, me too.
And, like, I played it for a little bit, and I'm like, Okay.
So, and now I'm going to tell you, like, they remind me a little bit of Saber Interactive, the people that made World War Z, which is a game that I absolutely fucking adore. World War Z got so many updates to that game that they're using that technology in Space Marine 2, which is my most hyped game of the year, and nothing's close to it. And I can't wait to play that. What Undead Labs has done the last several years is update State of Decay 2 so much that there's so many different modes, so many different things in it, so many different systems. I'm just saying, carry that over, give it better animations, which they created a whole studio for that, and move those systems forward and create something new with it, which shouldn't be that hard since you've already created all these other things. And it's about 120 people, I want to say, is on that studio, plus you throw in the animation studio that they created, because they did grow. Now, the one thing I can see kind of hurting it is that the person that was in charge of Undead Labs, I think, actually said, I might have bit off more than I can chew, and I don't know if I can do that. And he stepped down. Same with the person that did Avowed. Like, hey, if you know your limitations, fucking that's an adult. And they brought people in that can handle that stuff. So that's the only thing. That's why it's going to look better than it did. And I think that those systems can move forward.
Even if what I said, what I want out of State of Decay 3 doesn't come to fruition, even if it was the same type of game it was, the major problem I had with 2, which, I thought they were going to expand upon from the first, is stuff like there wasn't enough of like your base building. It was... I don't want to say repetitive because every game is repetitive, but it felt that way after a while. But there was no real threat either. Like, I want to see more of a threat from the zombies and stuff. And not only from the zombies, but from like, NPCs and stuff, like people within the game too.
You want a more living world.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to be all online and multiplayer, just some cool stuff like that. And it was buggy as hell too. That was one big issue I had with part 2. Yeah, I had issues where if I hit a guardrail in my car, and I showed it one time in a video, it got stuck inside the guardrail, and I could reenact it over and over and show people, look, if you hit a guardrail, you get stuck inside there, and it was, I had some issues with it, but it's mostly about the stuff you can do within the game. I think they need to expand a bit, and they could make this a really good, fun game. And I'm looking forward to seeing more. I am, because I love the first so much that I haven't forgotten that. And I just think they could do better.
I think it's going to be great. I think it's actually going to be a lot better than people think. And I know what Hargeet's saying. Don't set expectations around it and get disappointed. No, I mean, I'm going to have expectations around everything, and I'm going to have like what I would like, of course. And then if it's not there, that's fine, as long as what they give me. The hard thing to do. The hard thing to do with me is what Sea of Thieves did. It gave me a game I did not know I wanted. That is a hard thing to do, right? Like, to me, like Winter Soldier, the movie, was a superhero movie I did not know I wanted until I watched it and was like, fuck, that's amazing. So that is the hard thing that the people that create art like games have an issue doing, right? Like, that's the hard little medium to hit. And I think State of Decay 3 is going to be that way. I think it might actually hit that target where I'm happy.
We've gone on about State of Decay 3. What else do we got that might show at this showcase?
Let's see. Perfect Dark, right?
Yep.
I think that's going to come, and it's shaping up nicely. Apparently, that might show. Contraband, I heard, is going through like development difficulty, so I don't know if it's going to be there. Iron Galaxy, apparently, with Killer Instinct, that might be going on. There's some rumors about that. Obviously, Avowed is going to be there. I'm almost positive. We got to think about this now also. Forza Horizon. It's been how long? Like 3 years. 3 years. So Forza Horizon.
They're due.
Fable's going to be there. I'm almost positive. Fable has to be there with gameplay. Like to me, it just has to be. Like this has been since 2020. Like we need to see something. And I thought the last showing of like
that
a little
long ago when we saw Fable, was it 2020?
No, they announced Fable with a CGI.
Okay. I was going to say
that's what I'm saying.
Last year. And so I don't know that you would necessarily show it at the June showcase.
Yeah, I don't know about
because
that.
I think that would be the next Dev Direct.
How about
to say, hey, it's coming out next year, and here's one of those.
I think they show it.
We want to see. So I don't know.
Clockwork Revolution, right?
Oh
that might be there.
That one. Yeah. It's like Biohazard, kind of.
Again, I don't know. Would they? Maybe. I don't know.
No, Clockwork Revolution is like the cyberpunk, not cyberpunk, the steampunk one from In Exile.
In Exile, yeah. But I don't know if South of Midnight or Clockwork would be at this. I don't. Maybe,
I would assume they'd be there with a trailer, and then the games that are releasing this year, like Avowed, they're going to get extended gameplay trailers. I think Forza Horizon, if that's there, it's going to get extended gameplay trailers. Call of Duty obviously is going to get their whole entire like 30-minute direct, like Starfield did. I said Biohazard. I meant Bioshock. That Clockwork reminds me of Bioshock. Bioshock type game. But I think they need Fable there to like show like just a big fucking.
Yeah, I agree with Boba in the chat. I think it's a little early for Fable. I don't know. I would love it to be there. Yeah, because they just showed that teaser CGI thing last year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's in game.
Right?
It's gameplay. It's in game. It's in game. Yeah.
But I mean, I think now it'd be the Dev Direct. I don't know. Like they could show it again, but it's like it's too much at that point. I just want to see a release date, and I think it's better to just say it's coming out next year, and they put it out in the Dev Direct, and we get to see actual like here's what it's going to be like, and here's the developers talking about how they made it, and you're getting it released sometime this fall or summer or whatever it is.
Oh, right? Starfield's Moonshatter or whatever.
Yeah,
Shattered Moon
DLC.
Shattered Space,
Shattered Space, something like that.
Well, there's going to be a whole bunch of those, right? There's Fallout 76 has stuff coming. There's
Starfield Moonwalk.
They've got Starfield Moonwalk, Shattered Space, World of Warcraft, right? With what the heck is theirs called? Soccer?
The War Within.
The War Within, right? They're probably going to have that there.
Oh yeah, because Blizzard's going to be doing their thing.
So
Diablo has their expansion coming out at the end of the year.
Yeah, so all of those are going to be there. I'm sure they're going to all be there.
Geez, that's going to be a big showcase.
Minecraft updates and whatever else, all those things that usually you have, right? So
ESO, Fallout 76, they're going to have some.
Flight Sim should get its release.
It's a lot,
right? Flight Sim 2024 should get its release date.
Fuck,
it might be a huge showcase, man. This might be
at this point.
Well, we still have Towerborn replaced, Stalker. What else? They could have third-party stuff. It's very likely that they're going to have some third-party Japanese things, maybe even some other ones. Maybe like Ubisoft, they might do something with Splinter Cell. Announce that there, showcase more in Ubisoft Forward. Things like that they could actually do.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about like third-party marketing deals that they might have, or just third-party.
Yes, what I mean. These are third-party marketing deals that they could actually be working on, right? Persona 6 could show up. Things like that.
Persona 6.
Right. So there's potential. There's potential for other things, right? So Visions of Mana, that's still being marketed by Xbox, right? So
I thought that was supposed to be out already. Was it? No,
I don't think so. I'll check if there is a
Visions of Mana. I thought we saw that last year.
Mana
seems like
no, we saw it in this in the Dev Direct. We saw it in the Dev Direct.
Okay, yeah, I'm excited for
pretty much to be announced as far as release date.
Most of the games you mentioned, I'm honestly interested in. So this could be a huge year.
Age of Mythology is still coming. On and on. There's so many. 33 Immortals. I think that was being marketed by Xbox, and that's imminently coming, right? So,
Flintlock, that one with the chick with the axe.
Yep, Flintlock, right?
By the way, I got to give a big shout out to Delilah HD from Grown Women Gaming. They have their 300th episode.
Yeah, 300th episode.
Delilah has been a good friend for many years now, and I used to be a panel member with her on the GRG podcast back in the day. If you haven't checked out Grown Women Gaming, they're here on YouTube. Check them out. The thing I like about these She didn't tell me to say any of this, but I have to. The thing I like about them is they are a group of friends that happen to be women that play games. Actually play games. They play games. And some of them are freaking amazing gamers. Like I played with a couple of them, El Boogie and Lady Infamous one time in Call of Duty, and they carried me like you wouldn't believe. Amazing. So give them a follow. They're funny. They're fun.
Yes.
Give them a follow. Go check them out. Go check out their show Saturdays.
Right. Shout out to them. 300th episode. Hope for many more. But yeah, as far as like other things, think about Square, right? They had this big announcement that they're going multi-plat. This might be a good time to go to the stage of Xbox to actually announce some stuff, right? Octopath Traveler 2 is tentatively scheduled to come to Xbox sometime this year. This would be a good time to bring it out, maybe even put it in Game Pass. Maybe some look at Final Fantasy 16 coming to PC or console, right? This is a chance, right? They have this opportunity to start saying, all right, let's start marketing again outside of just PlayStation. So you might see some Square stuff. I'm just saying, right? That might be something that's happening. There's potential for others as well. So I don't know. There's going to be some third-party stuff, I'm sure, right? Even though they have a whole bunch of their own stuff to give us. There's also potential for games we don't know about yet, right? Because they just bought ABK.
Yep, new announcements.
And like there's like games that Infinity Ward and I think even Raven were working on outside of Call of Duty. And those could be ready to show, right? To give you a teaser of what, one of these games looks like. So you could be getting something like that, right? The Elsewhere thing I think is years off, so we're probably not going to see much there. But yeah, there's going to be other games, right? Like ABK games that we would potentially see. Obviously, there's going to be a Game Pass announced, right? We're going to dump these games into Game Pass, whether it's COD or other games from ABK, right? So there's potentials for that. I don't know if they also start going into the mobile side. We'll have to see what happens there, right? This is kind of focused more on core gamers, but I mean, they bought King. Do they bring stuff from the mobile side into this? I don't know. They've done it here and there, right? Like with Gears Pop and stuff like that. They've brought little mobile things here and there. I don't know if they do something more, right? So, maybe you can expect something like that.
I don't want to see that kind of stuff on the stage.
Jones. We forgot about Indiana Jones.
No, India Avowed, Ara, they definitely should be there. Obviously, they have to announce like kind of.
Yeah, you got to show more.
And then Asian Mythology should be coming in there. Visions of Mana. Yeah.
That's a ton. That's a ton. And it's one of the reasons why I really wanted to make it to this showcase. Number one, again, Gear 6, man. That alone, if they show that, is going to just make my showcase.
There's also rumors of something Halo. We don't know if it's going to happen or not, but something Halo with a certain affinity stuff that's been worked on.
Is that still a thing going on? Is certain affinity still working?
Apparently something. They're still doing something, yes.
Okay, because I thought that got squashed back, months ago or something. But
potentially they were working on a battle royale that may have been squashed in favor of something else.
Tanaka.
Don't know.
Codename Tanaka.
Tatanka.
Tatanka or something.
Tatanka was the battle royale, I think. But
Tanaka is the goddamn master in Bloodsport for Jean-Claude Van Damme. Frank Dukes, just so you guys know. That's my bad. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody knows what that is, but sorry.
That's what I'm going to do to Gaz when I see him.
The other thing
you're going to fist him.
Yep.
Fist him. Oh my god.
I'm going to punch him right in.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry, go ahead, Hargeet. We're fucking distracted.
I'm distracted by septic sauce in the chat. Gaz.
Yeah, I don't know about the word that you use there, if that really means what you're saying. But anyways, we will move on.
It does.
So the hardware part of it, there's potential for a Series X without the disk drive. There's potential for a new controller. I'm actually more excited about the controller if they're actually going to have one, or a Elite Series 3 controller. That'd be kind of cool too. So those are things that I don't know if they're going to show up at this showcase or not. But those are
they have to show a controller, some kind of control, even if it's like a regular controller with a different edition. Yeah, they always do that sort of stuff.
Here's an interesting question, right? We've had one special edition console this gen, right? The previous gens, they always create every game that comes out. There's a new console you can buy, right? The Cyberpunk console, the Gears console. And all. We've had one with Halo. Is it time for one for COD?
I'd say it's time for one for anything at this fucking point.
right?
And yeah, I would say one. I would say one for COD would be perfect. Like, hey, you get
right?
COD with this.
You know
console.
what I actually like better is I actually like the wraps that they do, like they did with Starfield.
I mean,
Like,
the wrap is fine,
The
but like
wraps are cool.
you have the custom startup sounds,
'Cause
right?
you
You have the
could-
custom like
True,
design.
true.
I don't
You do
know.
get
I
that
think
extra
it's kinda cool
stuff.
to have that.
But it's also
And-
cool to be able to change the look whenever you
It
want.
also entices people to buy it, right? So I think the problem they run into is they're subsidizing it so much that they don't want people to double dip because then they just don't they don't get the value out of it, right? So as far as Xbox. So I'd say if you're gonna make one, go ahead and make one, but make it expensive because I think people will buy it anyway. So it's like I don't know. They need to like kind of entice people to do this. Like that. Did you guys see the One X that was a Gears edition? It was like it looked beautiful. It had like this
Is it the white?
holographic Gears image on top.
Was it white with like the glacier?
I had to buy it. I had to buy it.
Yeah.
What was that?
It was like a glacier. It was white, and it had,
Yes.
That
it was
one was
white, and it
amazing
had this,
looking. Yeah.
dude, I just
had
couldn't resist.
that, I
I
had
had to
that
buy it.
controller. Lethal Papa actually sent me that controller.
How does
like,
it look?
dude,
it was
How
so
did the console
beautiful.
look in real life? Was it really good?
Oh, it was amazing, dude. That holographic thing just
Nice.
like it looked beautiful. It was so good. But yeah, I ended up eventually trading it. But like it was, I had to
ended
get
up
it.
just
Even though I
throwing
totally
that
100%
bitch out the
didn't need it.
window.
He's like,
Oh,
I liked it,
man.
but I said, "Fuck you, dude."
I traded it for a Series X. I traded it for a Series X, right? But
Makes sense.
But either way, but it's like I just because I'm like, even though I absolutely do not need this, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
It just looks so good. It's like, but so I think the reason is that they lose so much on these. I think the console costs them a lot more than what they're charging you.
Yep.
And if they like, dude, if you make one like Xbox, listen, if you make a special edition console, you don't have to charge the same amount. You can freaking charge more money, and people will buy it anyway.
Hey, don't tell them that.
Yeah, I'm not. No. Charge less money, you rich fucks.
Yeah. Hargeet's like,
No.
I'll buy it.
Go ahead and charge more. Also, if you do
man.
FanFest again, you can charge people and they will show up. You don't have to do it for free. You can still raffle away tickets.
Yo, kick
Okay?
this fucking
You
guy
can
off
do
the
it
line.
for free.
I'm for the consumer here. Hargeet's like, no, fuck you. You're gonna pay. I love it.
Hargeet just started a job at Xbox. That's what I'm seeing right now. He just got a job.
Would you rather pay for like people who like me would pay like $600 say for a special edition console, or give your games to PlayStation? Which one would you rather do?
Give my games to PlayStation. I want it to be cheaper for me as a gamer.
I would
much rather.
I don't
keep that game.
Yeah, it does. The whole exclusivity thing going away doesn't bother me, but again, it's just that's a me problem.
The platform going away, does that bother you?
To a certain extent, like if you're telling me that there will no longer be an Xbox console, it would suck. It would suck.
Kind of where it's going,
and that kind of sucks for them to just give up in that regard. You know,
it does.
It's the way I look at it.
So would you rather they make money other ways? Because look, Phil came out and said what you wanted, right? I'm not going to charge my customer. I'm instead going to find new customers, which means put my stuff on PlayStation.
Well,
the alternative is charge your customers.
They should have started with making Game Pass more compelling, and making people
stop bringing out these niche games. Fuck.
Yeah, it's not going to be compelling for you. I told you that. I don't think Game Pass is for you. I don't think it is.
I do, because I'm about to get Lords of the Fallen. I'm down for that. Like let's go, dude. I'm getting that.
How much is Lords of the Fallen? Let me look. I'll tell you how much Lords of the Fallen.
It's like,
oh
how much is it? Look it up on Steam.
You know, Hargeet. You know, one of the main reasons I hold on to Game Pass right now is because my son plays all those games that you like to play.
Exactly. He's like me, right? He actually plays games.
He actually plays those.
Yo.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? Go look at my
fuck.
Hey, all you got to do is go look at my Steam account. Look at how the hours I put into these games that I'm playing. I just play different games than you. I play the bigger blockbuster games. You can play these smaller games, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just at the end of the day, we like different things.
Yeah, like we like games that have actual skill, Hargeet, that just not holding up the whole time. We like challenges, you know.
Do you really? Okay, hold on. Let's say newest first, because it's giving me the 2013 game. I'm like, no, that's not what I want. On Steam, it is $26. On PC, on console, it is. Let me try to find it on console.
Good luck.
$24. No, that's a 2014 one again. Damn it. Yeah, it's not showing me like anything here.
Shout out to Darge Knight with the $4.99 super chat. Says, "Hope you lads are all good." The heart emoji. Yeah, man. I hope you're good too, bro. Haven't talked to you in quite a while.
Hope you're doing good, Darge.
But yeah,
that's pretty much all of it, man. That's all the stuff that we have.
That's a lot, though. That's a lot, and I can't wait to be there this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyways, let's wrap up the show, guys. Hargeet, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, so first, of course, I'm an author and have this book out called Emergence, and you can check it out at the URL listed right here.
And it's in the link down below.
And if you want to check out my channel, youtube.com/HargeetChani1, you can go there and subscribe, and I'll be putting up videos. And the last one I put out was the COD comparison on cost. If you want to do Game Pass versus buy, I will probably do one on the state of PlayStation, especially after that weird vision statement, sometime soon. I'm trying to put the stuff together for that. And then also I've got a request to do one on the comparison of games that have come out from both PlayStation and Xbox since the generation started, which I keep a Excel of all the games that came out. So I'll put that together so you guys can see, my madness of keep track of all this stuff. But anyway, so I'll probably put a video together for that as well. Next, I'll be in Boom's Wednesday, 7 p.m. US Eastern Primetime Gaming podcast. So that's on Double Barrel Gaming. Check that out. And then I'll be on C Money and Doodles on Point for Gamers channel on Friday. We're tentatively looking to change that to 7 p.m., but right now it's 6 p.m. US Eastern, but maybe we'll make that 7 p.m. US Eastern on Friday, and that's the night shift. Check that out as well. We usually go for a very, 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 very long time on that one, but yeah, check that out.
You said a very, very long time. That's funny.
Oh my gosh, it's usually like 5-6 hours. It's like a ridiculously
fuck
long.
that.
Yeah, it's like Iron Lord's level of ridiculous.
And whose podcast is that?
It's C Money and Doodle. It's
they go that long? Gamers. Holy crap!
Yeah, it's very, very long podcast.
Jesus Christ! You guys play Hellblade the whole time and beat it, or what?
you could potentially, yeah.
You skip all the cutscenes, right? Yeah, absolutely could, right? So,
man,
yeah.
Zalker, let everybody know. Yeah, so you made a video this week. You came back to YouTube after who knows how many months now, but it's good to see you back, man. You're making videos again, and will we see more of you on the podcast scene?
Yes, I plan to make more videos, be more consistent, at least once a week. Before I used to make like 3 a week, and then work, I got promoted. Work's been going very good for me. I've really enjoyed it. It sucks. It's beautiful, but it sucks because I want to do YouTube stuff, but just didn't have the time. For like 6 months, I haven't done anything. So finally, I made a video. Very happy with it. Very happy with everybody like giving me like a warm welcome back. And then I'm gonna be back on the podcast scene. I want to like jump on people's podcasts, enjoy it, try to get as much time in it as I can. Of course, Fonz, you asked me, and I had the time to. So I'm just glad to be talking games, talking to people in the community, all of that. And I plan to make more videos. So that's my kind of big thing, and I'm looking forward to it, man. Just getting back into it, it just feels great talking about these games, especially now when we have the events coming up, everything like that. So yeah, and maybe even do like a kind of like a solo podcast on my channel, even if I can't make a video, just jump on, talk for an hour or two.
Just talk to yourself. Be sensual on your channel.
Yeah. It's just in my head, defeat giants,
Yep.
And just have a good time. But yeah, and honestly, just connecting with the community. So you can find me at Zalker87 on Twitter and Zalker87 on YouTube, as everybody I would assume knows. So yeah, and if you haven't heard from me, I'm a asshole that likes games. So there you go. That's my pitch. And I'm always going to be honest.
By the way, Magnum, member for 5 months. Unfortunately, he said after playing Hellblade 2, his controller got stick drift going up.
Shut up. Magnum, shut up, dude. Magnum. God damn it.
Wow. Okay. Anyways, just want to thank everybody for watching and listening.
Is sticky.
Yeah, he's got stick drift, man. He pushed it up. He was eating Cheetos at the same time, okay? Yeah. And he likes PlayStation games too, or at least, certain things they do on that site. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for coming out today, watching the show live, listening live, and everybody after the fact. Thank you for listening on demand. Everybody that's, comes to YouTube, I appreciate you. Everybody that listens on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, thank you as well. Until next time, game on.
Hey, well, how about your other podcast, dude? Let's talk about your other podcast. Invite people.
Oh, yeah, I guess I'm not good at that. This Mysterious World is my other podcast that I do here on YouTube. And of course, I've got a channel dedicated to that with the same name, This Mysterious World. And you can check that out where every Wednesday I talk to, I don't always have a guest, but I do weird news, talk about a certain subject from the realm of the unexplained or any of that weird stuff, UFOs, Bigfoot, that sort of thing. I'm over there doing that. If you're interested, come on by, listen live or listen after the fact. It's on Spotify as well. Anyways, I just did a show this week, just the other night, matter of fact, where I talked to an ex-military official that talked to us about UFO encounters he had while in the military. So anyways,
that's actually pretty cool, man. I really recommend people check it out. I will say that as a topic for you in there is like a YouTube channel that has like gremlins on it. It's called Septic Sauce. You should go check it out. That's a gremlin. It's like,
wow.
All right, just joking.
Yeah, well, he said Fonz talks about outlandish conspiracy theories like aliens and Zalker having good taste. Ooh.
And that's why I said what I said. I didn't even see him put that up there.
He just did.
But Gaz, I'm coming for your neck. Artist having motherfucker.
Oh, man. With that said, game on.
Nice.